Hello.
Hello. WOMBAT, welcome.
I'm here. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're here.
Sorry, I missed all that.
Yeah,
Wow.
man. Yeah. Doug, how are you, man?
Gentlemen, I'm well. How about yourselves?
Not bad. Mover, I like the I like the ambiance back there, man.
That's a heck of a room.
That is a heck of a room. You know what? It was fun. I'm not aware of these technologies. The camera. Yeah, dude.
That's so bizarre, dude. That is so bizarre.
It's like it's scary.
He's trying to replace me with a robot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
We don't know that you're not a robot.
That's true.
Doug could be next gen AI.
I could be.
I
I
mean,
would
for
love
that.
Or last gen AI.
I wish I was next gen anything.
He's first gen AI.
First gen AI.
Well, hire
As
a
we all
human.
know, the first gen is the best gen. So
There you go.
Hire a human. Don't pay him much. First gen AI. Go.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Laptop ops, dude. Laptop
Yeah.
ops. It's
Yeah.
good, you're tactical.
I feel like Gonky. This is
Happy?
how Gonky must feel.
All the time. Chipper. Good to go.
No.
Yeah.
Middle
What's
of the
going?
frame.
What's
you
going
have
on?
not been chipper lately, Gonky.
Well, yeah.
What? Why not?
I've been. I mean,
Is it because you ran out of just for beard? Is that the problem?
there's a lot of gray in this. I was.
There's a lot of gray.
No, man. I just so I have my knee. Since you asked, Mover, how my week was, I'll just tell you.
I don't
I know.
recall him asking, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, you were just kind of is on the.
I mean, it was
your
kind of
tongue.
it was like, why are you so poopy pants?
I got my knee follow up, and basically the doctor like didn't know why I was still in pain, and I'm just a knuckle dragger, and I like he looked at me like, you shouldn't be feeling this pain based on the scan of your knee, and I like, what do you say to that? I mean, he's got like pictures of like NFL players he's put back together and like power lifters, and there's Gonky with his little knee hurt, and yeah, he's like, dude, he's like, we could do some more surgeries, like, but you're too young for this, too old for that. He's like, and now I asked him, I was like, Doc, just cut the nerve out. Like, I'll just check every 6 months. We'll check up on it. So I got to go see a nerve specialist. So I had me down the dumps because, you're sitting there with the guy that knows, and it's got him stumped. And that was a little disheartening because honestly, I just, it's been since May since I've been able to like be fully mobile, and I don't like sitting around. I like getting out doing stuff. So for me, it's been kind of hard to be at 50% at best. So, but that was the big blow. I mean, we had family in town too, which was cool. Got to see my kids play with their grandparents a little bit, so that was fun. That made it better. But yeah, it's all about me, really. That's why I'm down the dumps as usual. So.
Dude, when you said that, it reminded me of the scene from Flight of the Intruder when he's smoking the cigarette, like all shot up, and he's laying there and he's like, just lay it in on me, man. Like, that's what I envision you when it's like, cut out the nerve. Like, just cut out the nerve, man. Like, I do it for you.
All I'm hearing is it's like, have you tried not complaining so much? Have you tried just sucking it up and walk it off, dude?
Mover says this because he has some slight inside knowledge. So I asked the doc, I was like, what would you do if you were me? After he's like, these surgeries aren't for you yet. And I'm like, so doc, what would you do if you were me? And he's a pilot too. He owns his own airplane, of course, doctor. He's like, well, I would, I would get on the exercise bike and I just push through the pain. And I'm like, pretty sure I got here by pushing through the pain.
Have you tried
harder?
Here, we're going to prescribe you some testosterone for your.
You know what, dude? I missed my opportunity for some straight up
dude.
testosterone.
You could have been straight up juicing.
I could have been juicing
legally, because that stuff's hard to get allegedly.
I mean, WOMBAT will tell you, man. I mean, I've basically spent 20 years of my life pushing through the pain. This is why I am the way I am. So. Yeah.
Have you tried 1,000 milligrams of Motrin?
Twice a day, every day.
That's it? Just twice a day? Isn't it every 4 hours?
The 800 was every 4 hours. You're right. That was the Navy. That was the Navy standard. You go in for it could be for
freezer bag of 800 milligrams
or colossal brain injury. It was always
Right,
800
your liver.
milligrams.
Dude, you'd lop an arm off in the Navy. They're like, here you go, pop one of these. You're good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So Mover, how about your week? Tell us about your week, man.
I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just happy to be
You're
here.
just playing with that camera.
Mover has a new
fans
toy.
that don't know, this camera is actually from Mover's other channel that he doesn't like to talk about on this channel.
Dude, if y'all give me $800,000 a month, I will show you whatever you want. Anything.
Get out your checkbook.
We'll get the flashlight out. We'll do whatever you need.
Dude.
For that kind of money, I
we got our first super chat, Mover. Stop talking.
It's in Turkey money. How much is that?
Actually in Turkey?
Is that 800 grand in Turkey?
Salute from Turkey. Thank you for an awesome show. Thank you, man. Hopefully it doesn't get too much more awesome, Mover.
Listen, I'm bringing in the bucks now.
You are, as usual. That's right.
Let's see what's going on with me. Racing Pensacola Saturday, probably.
That's right.
Probably. Knock off the probably. You're doing this.
Yeah, I already put it on the calendar, dude. Listen, I got a wife. I've made these these are immovable schedule pieces now. Okay. You got to make it happen.
Same.
It's on my calendar too, and you know that it's real hard for me to delete things. Oh no, that's not true. I delete stuff all the time.
Are you coming out, Wombat?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
What difference does it make if it's on your calendar?
Hey, but it's on me and Doug's calendar.
It's no different than this show. Every time I go, delete. So simple.
Gonky. So,
yes, sir.
See, I got my little DJI thing right here because my Osmo. We're gonna mic you up.
Oh boy!
And
so you can really hear the laughter.
So yeah, we can hear Gonkyisms as Mover is. Oh my God, are those other cars? Why are they going so fast?
I'm watching all my favorite Days of Thunder clips over and over.
I want to go just because I want to eat ice cream in the pits.
Talladega.
I've already, dude. Yep.
That's all I want to do.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Gonky, so can we reenact the racing down pit lane after I win?
You will smoke me because I can walk
about like quickly. Robert Duvall.
Yeah,
dude,
he did pretty good. The adrenaline will kick in. It'll kick in.
Once he got moving, dude, he was going pretty quick.
It's good. He's good.
See, Tom Cruise's legs are so small, it just looks like he was hauling the mail.
Maybe
that's true.
Maybe that is like what you need. Maybe that little bit of adrenaline makes you man up and push through the pain. According to your doctor,
dude, or it could be the opposite, right? I sprained my other knee, and then Mover goes and gets me a wheelchair.
Perfect. Wheelchair is going to beat Mover anytime.
Motorized, baby.
We'll scoop that thing up, put a flag on it.
There you go. Put the Mover and Gonky Show sticker on the back.
A flag. Now it'll be a Mover and Gonky Show flag.
Nice. Oh,
yeah. Well, cool. Wombat, thanks for joining us, man. Anything exciting in your world?
Oh, dude, it's been busy.
Yeah,
I was thinking about it. But
listen, before I beg for money, do your thing with Wake for Warriors since you got your shirt on.
So that was one of the things. Tomorrow, sometime the campaign ends for Wake for Warriors that I have going on Instagram. So you can obviously go to Wake for Warriors.
No, not that one. Not that one.
But if you go to the Instagram, go to my stories, you can donate $1, $1 million, whatever you want, anywhere in between, directly to these guys. Dave Deep is the founder, Marine, helicopter pilot, badass, and runs an awesome organization. And it's ending. So everybody's been super generous, way more than I can imagine. But appreciate every little bit as we get to the end here. So I appreciate that. That's why I got the shirt on. Got a rep.
Let's not call it the end. Let's call it. That's not the end.
Well, the end of the one I'm doing now. So if it does well,
you say like, we get to the end here. I mean, that sounds pretty.
Yeah. But they give you the campaign or whatever it is. So please go check that out. I'd appreciate it. Dave would appreciate it, and all the wounded veterans would greatly appreciate it. Because it's not cheap. but it changes lives. So
Is it wakeforwarriors.org?
I believe it is. Yeah. So, but like I said, the one that I'm specific, they take donations on their website all the time, but the one that I'm trying to do
They
for
do.
them is on the Instagram stories on mine right now. So appreciate that. So that's big news. My wife, huge shout out. She got her certified strength and conditioning specialist
Oh wow, nice.
certification. That's
Very
not
Oh, Gonky, that's what you need.
no, she'd still call you a wimp. She texted me while you were talking. She's watching it in the other room, and she's like, "I suggest
Hi,
Gonky,
Mrs. Wombat.
Gonky should man up a bit." So no, she didn't say that. She doesn't watch this show. But
Yeah,
no,
we got
common. That's very
Yeah.
common.
I was gonna say,
Actually,
man.
that's very common. We're
but
used
she
to
got
that.
her CSCS, man. She's been studying for that for a while.
Nice.
I'm so freaking proud of her for that. Unfortunately, she's in the other room right now building the first workout program for me, which sucks because it's going to be really hard and it's going to crush me. But yeah, she's awesome with that. So that happened. People that follow me on Instagram saw that it took the family out on Friday, the Atlanta Motor Speedway, because my son has some interest in racing
Oh, cool.
in bandoleros. He can't officially compete in bandoleros yet because he's too young, but
What is that?
it's
that
dude, it's Mover's good. Well, I don't know if Mover has pictures, but it's awesome. Don't show pictures of my kid, but
I can't look, dude. I'm on a
my
lot.
car.
Even if
little
is-
cars for kids?
Yeah, dude, it's like a quarter or eighth sized, like looks like a NASCAR. It's awesome. And dude, these things run now at Atlanta, it's a quarter-mile track
For kids?
for them. Yeah. But
Oh wow.
yeah, dude, how cool is that thing?
I'm so jealous.
I know.
Oh, dude, can you imagine
I
being a
know.
little kid driving that thing?
I'm so jealous.
Dude. And but on the half-mile
Wow.
tracks, like there's one, I can't remember the name of it. It's like an hour and a half south of Atlanta. Somebody will chime in. It's a half-mile track. They'll run up to 70 miles an hour in those things.
Really?
I know.
What's it powered by?
Some little go-kart engine, 1,000
Briggs and
cc or
Stratton.
something.
It's
It's
1,000
crazy. So,
cc.
70
maybe not
miles.
1,000. I don't know what it is, dude.
70 miles an hour is not a lawnmower, dude. I mean, it's not
So,
1,000, but it's not a
A Busa engine.
There you go. It's so
She's
whatever
a
that is.
twin, baby. Look at that.
So I've linked up with some people, and if he shows interest, we may be buying him a car.
Oh wow.
And getting him into that. So that means I'll get rid of everything else I own, because if you race anything, you're out of money.
You need
Period.
diesel truck, you need enclosed trailer.
Segway.
Oh, dude.
Segway.
I met up with a guy that his son races. I don't remember the class, but Mover might or Doug might, but it's the next. So he did. So it goes like Bandolero, Legends, and then whatever the next is. And he's in that level. He's been racing for 10 years. And I went to his house.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Like everything he had the Ram 3500 dually, the trailer, the shop. I'm like,
Yeah. Did you still have the
I
light?
could see the Porsche gone. Like it was gone. But you know what, man? If that's what my boy wants to do, then I'll support him as much as I can. But
Well, you said so. When can he start this?
7, he can start competing, but I have some connections that he would be able to start practicing now. So the plan is we're going to get him. If he brings it up again, that's the litmus test here. He's got to bring it up again to me. He's got to prove to me that he wants to do this, and it's just not a 6-year-old. Like, I like shiny objects. If he brings it up to me, we're going to modify the car that that my friend has. That was his son's first car. We're going to modify it to fit my son. Foot pedals, seats, whatever. Get him in some gear. Let him run some laps around a parking lot. If he likes it, then I'll probably end up buying that car, having it completely set up for him, and then let him start practicing. He can practice prior. He just can't compete until 7 years old.
That's exactly the plot for Days of Thunder. I mean, plus or minus, right? You got to do the test. He's going to drop the hammer, Wombat.
That's true.
And then you're like, oh, no, you're not. And then he's going to set some good laps, and you're going to get him his own car. He's going to wreck a lot. But then
I see that.
He's going to win his first race. And the hot highway patrol ladies get probably
See,
looking
that's
at-
where I wanted to watch Days of Thunder with them before we went to the track, and that is the point of the movie where my wife is like,
that was my favorite
Sick.
scene.
I'm like, well, so, but then the goal would be to get them to legend cars, and those things are insanely fast. I was watching those. I posted a video on Instagram. I was blown away by those. I had no idea. I had no idea any of this exists, and it's 20 minutes from my house, which is awesome.
So, proposal here.
Oh
Mhm.
boy.
If he's not asking you, perhaps
You
could
cannot go
adopt
back
a
in time
mover.
and become my 6-year-old son.
I'm
That's not
just
a thing.
saying there's an opportunity here
For adoption. Wombat.
adoption.
Adopt mover. He could be your son.
for a place called Talladega.
That's really, I was going to give my son more than 6 weeks to decide if he wants to bring this back up. So,
No, dude. If he has to take that long, he's not into it. That should have been right now.
Yeah.
that sounds like a very supportive person who's looking
Well,
at
You need to put a cougar in the back seat and see how he drives.
Well,
there's no back
Wombat, take it for what it's worth. So, my son, he races dirt bikes,
Sure.
and we practice every weekend. And the main track we go to, the track owner, great dude, he's trained people, and he told me, he said, "Man, he's like, when kids are 6, which is how old my son is, he's like, they still live in a world where they're slaying dragons." He's like,
Oh, yeah.
so you can't be too hard on him, and he's 100% right, because my kid will go out there and practice. He'll run the tank dry, and then he'll come in and he'll want to play with the sandcastle toys for the rest of the day. He wants to go eat the entire bag of popcorn. I'm like, Rip, you want to go out and ride again? No. Like
Good.
yeah, he's
well-
still a little kid, you know. So like if you guys go down this road, because I always have to temper myself because it costs money, right? But I never let him, I never push that. And I just watch him. And I always tell him, kid, the moment you don't want to do this anymore, you tell me. Like you don't have to be out here.
Yep.
Once
No,
again,
I
describe mover.
I agree 100%. And that's the thing is like the Bandolero cars are really designed, from what I've learned in the last like 72 hours, is just to get them the basics. You know, let them have fun, car control, etc. When they get in, if they get into the legends, that's where things are, dude. It's crazy. So we'll see. You know, I'm open to it, man. You know, my parents supported me with all my crazy ideas, but I'll tell you, when he got in that car, the look on his face is probably the same look that my father saw when I was out on his fishing boat and saw the Blue Angels when I was 6 years old. Like and you know how much he likes cars. I mean, he's my kid's addicted to cars. So there was something in his eye that I was like,
Not sure where you got that from, but I just
No. It's probably picked it up on the streets. You know, the stuff they're teaching in public school. So we got to get them out of there. But yeah, so that's it, man. I'm so proud of my wife, and getting that, and then we'll see what racing brings. It's going to be, you know, if he wants to get into it, we'll get into it. So
nice.
Very Doug, nice. Do we have anything from the? I can't.
No. We got except for our.
We got 7 of them.
We did. Yeah. Doug, go ahead, roll it, dude. I don't know what I'm talking about. Wicked Spider says, "Hi guys, happy St. Patrick's Day." That's right. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Greetings.
That's awesome. Renee, welcome back, Wombat. Yeah, it's always good to have him on.
Wombat.
Renee again. Nurse knowledge. Get a second
opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good advice. Thank you. Hidden Forest, I was going to donate 1 million in juices, but I guess that's not allowed. That's funny.
It's not. I'm sorry. Thanks, though. I'll let Dave know. He'll appreciate it. But
Carl says, the things parents sacrifice for the kids, you just put your hobbies on hold for a bit. Very cool. Yeah. Dude, I know me. I still ride and race too. So and honestly, Wombat, it would be cool if you could stay involved because it is fun. It is fun to see, you know.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, you know, the mechanic side. I mean, growing up, my dad was a mechanic. So, you know, there was definitely a part of it that, you know, when I was talking to these guys and the guy that I met, he has a aircraft mechanic that's actually his kid's crew chief, and he's really good. But there was definitely a part of me that's like, it'd be cool to learn some of this too. Like, it's just cool to wrench on it. So, you know, Yeah, 100%. I mean, just the amount of time to get to spend with them and stuff like that, like it'd be really
It's
cool.
fun.
But I'm not going to push him. Like, I'm not going to be that person. I'm not the parent that, we're at Little League and they think he's going to get signed by the Braves next week. It's like, dude,
No.
just enjoy it. Cause honestly, a lot of those people that get to that level, you watch the documentaries where they get to that level in whatever their sport is and they were forced into it. And it's just shoved, like they're just miserable and they're borderline psychopaths because it's just not a healthy thing.
Yeah.
So no, it'll be, but I'll tell you, man, he got in that car and he's steering the wheel. I mean, he looked adorable in that thing. I'm like, oh man. And then he was like, I want it to be guards red and I want never down, never out on the back of it. And I was like,
Why?
Boy.
You want it on the front.
Well, because he's going to be passing everybody.
That's right.
So
Hey, you don't
he
want
wants
them to know
skip.
they're never down. You want to humiliate them and give them no hope. You don't want to tell the people behind you that
Trying
they're
to
never down,
raise
never out.
a good human being,
Yeah.
mover,
don't
not somebody
want-
who's
Everything opposite from the mental health minute. That's what we're going to put on this car. It's like,
Right.
it's like everyone suck it.
Yeah.
never down, never out on the hood.
Second
a
is
little
the
down,
first
a little
loser.
out on the back.
No
See
friends
you
on the
later,
racetrack.
nerds. Yeah.
That's funny,
Fuck
dude.
it, nerds.
Hey, Ron says she can bake wombat. Yeah, that's awesome. Wicked Spider. Everybody tell Wombat last
that's
guess
hot.
mishap. Oh
He doesn't
yeah,
watch the show.
We're waiting for Wombat to go sideways.
yeah. No,
It's more likely that I will with this camera as
Hope
it
not.
tracks me through the gimbal.
Lisa says no DeLoreans were hurt in the mover and Wombat adoption. It is a cool car though.
He denied me.
I didn't deny you. I just changed the subject.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
Dude.
Listen, dude, I still, want to race and then dream of, catching bad guys.
Yeah.
No,
We
it's
all
good to
fantasize
have.
about our things.
So what's funny, I mean, Gonky, you've spent time with my son and his personality, and we take him out to the track and he's, talking to these adults, right? And like, I don't know anything about Bandolero racing. I'm like, wow, that thing's pretty cool, and this guy walks up to him, one of the mechanics, and he goes, so you want to be a race car driver? And I mean, the kid's 6, right? Like an adult throws a pointed question, they would normally shy away. He looks at this guy right in the eyes. He goes, and a Blue Angel. And I was like,
Oh, dude, you're doing something right. That's awesome.
I was like,
and a Blue Angel,
okay.
It's because of the flight doc.
dude.
Yeah. I think that's the last thing on his mind. Trust me right now. Like,
It's like that one
but
dude,
it was
right?
just, dude, it blew my mind because I was just like the confidence. I was like, dude, good for you. Man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't
So
ever
we'll see.
squash that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, Doug, I think we have a couple of topics to talk about today.
I believe we do. Would you like to start with the first one?
Yeah,
Can't wait to figure out what they are.
we can we can cue it up.
This is
Got
Gonky's
it
show
right.
today.
I guess Navy attacks the Houthis. U.S. Air Force downs drones. There it is. Go ahead, scroll down a little bit.
That freedom right there.
Yeah. So,
Like the candles.
what, the 15th and the 16th? They've the Navy has been attacking the Houthis here. So the U.S. military conducted strikes against Houthi targets in Yemen for a second day. U.S. Air Force fighters helped fend off drone attacks by the Houthis as they retaliated against the U.S. strikes. It says the strikes were launched by the U.S. military over the past 2 days, include airstrikes from the Harry S. Truman using F-18 Super Hornets and Tomahawk missiles. The strikes are the largest U.S. military operation released since current regime, President Trump, took office. And of course, they have a video of some Hornets taking off.
Do you want to see that?
Yeah, we'll play it. Can you play it without? Enhance. It's like nice.
Separates the Navy from the Air Force right
Look at
there.
that. Dang, dude.
Dumb
Catch up,
enough to
brain.
Go do that at night.
Thanks, Doug. I mean, basically, that's the gist of the article. The thing I wanted to mention was, so the Navy's fielding the Super Hornet and the F-35. I like to bag on the F-35, but doesn't it seem like all like all the action going on in the Red Sea, right? We never hear anything about the F-35.
Well, it's a radar jammed environment. We learned from Top Gun Maverick that you can't do
GPS.
anything with
It's
it.
GPS.
jammed. Yeah, you
GPS.
can't do anything.
Oh,
So I mean, and I know you like to focus on the negative. I don't know if you saw the follow-up story to this that's actually very positive. Our friendly kill ratio has gone down 100%. So that's good. So we've really I mean, that's a statistic you don't see a lot, but we have shot down 100% less of our own aircraft, which is huge. I mean,
because
huge.
it's the same battle group, dude.
100%.
Right?
Yeah,
So the
but
Gettysburg,
new people are in charge.
What did they do? Like they were going home, like back out there. Like what was?
Maybe they were just still out there. I don't know.
They're just
Did
still
they
out
get
there.
lost out there and?
They're steaming in a circle. The rudder is jammed, and it's like, well, since we're here,
just lob them off. Just keep firing them.
You know, I read that article, and it's the the same carrier, the Gettysburg, and I'm watching those Hornets take off at night. I'm like, boys, hope you make sure double check the IFF
RWR,
RWR is on. Like, save a couple expendables for the trip home, boys. It's like,
oh, dude, if they're carrying harms.
Right back at you.
This is for my boys.
This is for them. No. Dude,
then,
suck it, Swoes.
Well, if you notice, and I wonder.
And then you could just say that it was bad software and it's okay. You're like, there's a software glitch. That's why we shot down.
You'll get the deep intel on that one.
No. Okay, listen. On the Deep Intel show, I love you, Ward Carroll. Just kidding. But on the Deep Intel show,
wait, is that what we've been talking about this whole time?
He had a shoe come on and talk about, well, this is why Gettysburg
went in Rome,
shot down the Super Hornet. It was like you said, software anomalies, all that, dude. Because remember, Wombat, you and I were like, how the hell did this
dude, the sheer magnitude of Wombat hate that came out of me saying what I said on that show was like, well, if you watch War, I'm like,
exactly.
Literally, I wanted to reply and be like, hey, does anybody know if any other YouTube channel had a SWO on to talk about this? Because it was like I'm like, no kidding, dude. I get it. That doesn't mean it's right. Like,
well, it's not even right or wrong. It's literally it's like, okay, the circumstances that led to the event, when it comes to relief of command for something of that magnitude, doesn't really apply. Because, like we said, there was a whole bunch of circumstances that led to Truman to trade paint with that cargo ship.
Yeah,
and it's like
Rubbin's racing.
When you're pushing it, don't give up any turning room, dude.
Yeah,
swap some paint.
When you were going to the merge with a tanker, you were in there. I mean,
right. So in my mind, I'm like, because I saw those comments, I'm like, dude, people, it's not like, and like you said, you've listened to one side of the story, the SWO explain all, dude, trust me, I can come up with a matrix of excuses that will blow your mind.
Yes.
But it just kind of it irritated me that people would could be, I don't know. I don't know. It just irritated me.
Welcome to the YouTube comments.
Yeah, I was going to say, it irritated you. How about the email I got from somebody that said that I'm clearly dumber than the animal that my call sign is off of?
Did you really?
Yeah. And I was like, I wrote back and I said, you're correct, but what is this in reference to?
But do you poop cubes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
So anyways, those knuckleheads are still out there. But look, I think, and I don't know, Mover, you can weigh in, but I think the Navy, part of the issue, right, was, we thought they were missile attacks because, we can't tell who's who. Is that why they had the Air Force out there repelling? You know what I'm saying? Is that why you're like, listen, Air Force jets won't try to come back and land on the ship. They'll go somewhere else to land. So that way the Gettysburg has no chance of shooting friendly fighters.
Plus, the Air Force gets new planes every 2 weeks anyway. So if you shoot them down, it's no big deal.
But I mean, I don't know, Mover. Is that Wombat? I mean, what do you think? Because I was like, that's really weird that
they just came into the mix and they weren't there before. Yeah, there's something to that for sure. I don't know what it is.
It's just as plausible as any other theory.
Yeah, sure. Because I mean, I never fought the Houthis.
Well,
but like even when we were doing like DCA against Iran and stuff, like we just worked with Navy and Marine. We didn't work.
Well, no. And as much, it hurts me to say this. You remember the Strike Eagle Bubbas that all got DFCs for the Iranian attack? Dude, they shot down. They're good at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be simply that, like, hey, you guys were good at it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I saw that and that struck me as a little bit.
And I'll deny it if anybody quotes me.
So
Strike
Luger's
Eagle.
at the point now that he wants sponsorship so bad he's sucking up to Eagle guys.
Strike Eagle.
That's
Strike
shocking.
Eagle, dude.
Not C-Bot.
Two-seaters, bro.
If
We're that bad.
If the C model guys want to sponsor me, I'll be like Mike Honcho, dude.
Dude.
$20 is $20.
We're beyond
At this
OnlyFans.
point,
Yeah.
we're got to do
Starting
what we
something
got to
completely
do.
new.
We have to do what is required of us in times of dire straits.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. I get it, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
I still think the Air
CWB1.com/racing. By the way,
I still think the Air Force should sponsor you. Or Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace needs to come out because he's got Air Force on the side of his car and be a bro and be like, look at this guy who fought for our country, is a veteran. I bet Bubba would do it. He seems like a good dude.
For the country.
I mean, he fought enough.
Well,
Mental health, the VA like there's plenty of stuff that you've paid for the country. So
did you?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, speaking of which, at Pensacola, Doug found this. There is a C5/Delta captain making his debut.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Who's that? Do we know?
Clay Aiken. Right?
That's a country music singer.
I was going to say, it's not a
I
country.
don't know. Something Aiken. Doug, what was it? You remember? Because
that was my recollection also. Now I'm going to have to Google it.
Yeah.
Man, so they'll let anybody race if they're letting.
I'm still the only fighter pilot.
Yeah.
But there's a B-52 guy and a C5 guy now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
well, dude, no pressure, but you better beat those guys.
Yeah, you better.
It's like no pressure,
dude.
Yeah, I will take my son and go home if you don't, beat those guys. So
yeah,
that is not the plan. I'm only running 100 laps.
Doggy dog.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So basically, you've started a trend, is what I hear.
No, the B-52 guy's been doing it for a while.
It's not the story I tell.
I mean, if you ain't first, you're last.
There you go. I love that movie. No, you could be second,
I think Sam.
third, or fourth.
Yeah, Sam's
high when I told you that. I love that movie. Anyway.
Well, any more reattacks, sir, on the Houthi?
No, we need to stop it before Ilyas uses all that last part.
Nah, he won't, dude.
I'm happy that the boys and girls over there are doing some good work. Keep doing good work. Stay safe. Watch that case for your recovery.
Watch the guys work. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Like stiff arm. Maybe ask for the overhead at night.
Cat has a reattack.
Code Monkey. Everyone blames the software. Yeah, dude. Well, yeah, it's like, and it's like, okay, in December we accidentally shot down one of our own guys. The software fix ain't coming out that fast.
No.
And definitely
if it was, it should have been there before. And that was a BS answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. If they say the software fix was that quick, then that was just probably.
Explain this to me. Explain this to me like I'm 5. What?
Supposedly the big computer
that
decided that our Super Hornet was the bad guy had a software problem. And they knew about it before they went on deployment, is what I've heard.
So how come it just shot it down that one night?
That's a great
It interfered with their ability to identify friend or foe. Is my extreme.
So there's no human in the loop. It's just automated. It's just like
there's
there's actually nobody. I don't think I can't believe
become aware.
Did it become self-aware?
There's no humans at all on destroyers.
They're all a bunch of swoes. They're not humans.
Yeah, it's just.
God, remember how we were trending?
Send me the hate mail. I'm getting good at it.
I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
Wow.
No, you're not.
This ain't the news or nothing.
No, it's not. It's not.
It says it's Corey Aiken.
Oh,
That's
there you
close.
go. Yeah. it's
Clay's
close.
brother.
His new call sign's Clay. We've hostilely renamed the race car driver to Clay Aiken.
Oh man.
Are they racing Talladega too? Or you don't know?
He did the Daytona test, so he may be under the same deal. Like, hey, do Pensacola if that works out.
Mm.
You know, dude, there is a better than average chance. I say average. There's an average chance that I leave Pensacola, and that was it.
What?
Yeah, with that crap attitude.
No, I'm just laying down the possibilities here.
Dude.
The possibilities. That's
I'm
Yeah,
optimistic.
there's also the possibility that Joey Logano sees you and is like, "Come with me, mover. I can't believe you haven't been on my team the whole time."
I don't think that's a good idea, actually.
Because you're a Chevy guy and he's a Ford guy. Is that what it is?
No, I just, you know what, dude? I'm happy. The world needs ditch diggers too. If I can go race a couple times a year, you know, maybe make my way, you know, through, but I don't, the cup,
Dude, a good race needs some lappers. You need some lappers in there, bro.
yeah. Like I know who I am. Like I know, I'm just here to have fun.
Mm.
You know, that's it.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Those guys
are
Mover's
good.
beyond desperate at this time. Poor Mover. Dude, even
Yeah.
our fans can see it.
It's true though. It's true. That's why I'm in this
Yeah.
hotel room right now, trying to earn my way.
Valid. 100%
Soldier House.
valid.
Hey,
Chiron.
Douglas, make sure it's a super chat before you start.
Only fighter pilot fans. Yeah.
I thought that one kind of earned its own way.
No, don't even look over there.
Kenneth Johnson, $10 for a private sector contractor. Don't have Strike Eagle money. This is unhinged.
We haven't even started. This
Thanks,
is getting
man.
warmed up.
When's
Yeah.
the show
Stay
start?
tuned.
Hannah says it's better than the news. Yeah, this definitely ain't the news or nothing.
This is like
Also,
where you-
Hannah, that's the lowest bar to compare us against. Just so we're clear. The
We
news
actually
better
probably
than
have
the
more.
news.
We have more facts on this show than you're gonna have on the news.
Yeah, it's true.
sadly,
It's true.
sadly.
yeah. Fear, sarcasm, and ridicule are teaching tools.
They are.
Valid.
Although the Navy said they weren't. To me,
The Air Force
disagreed.
It's like the baseline of undergraduate pilot training, or at least it was. Now kids these days they'll never know.
Oh, we got in that discussion with another FO I flew with who did a lot. He was a Air Force Helo guy, great dude, just flew with him. And he did a lot of like T6 instructing and stuff like that. And he's like, man, it is so soft now. It is but like, dude, he just ranted for like an hour
No,
and I loved
she
it.
said-
And I was like,
No, not at
I
all.
was like, you should listen to this
Say about it.
podcast where we talked about
She didn't say that.
massages and
Hey, speaking of which, dude, you know what I did last week? I forgot. Like I'm so time warped. I went to Verticon.
Oh, yeah.
that's yeah.
I forgot.
There you go.
Did that.
Tape. Stop tape. Rewind.
Talked
Alright.
about mental health. I did a mental health symposium town hall.
You did a
I
speaking?
spoke for 15 minutes. Whole
About
minutes
mental health.
about
That's
mental
awesome.
health. Yeah. And
That's keynote speaking is what that is.
it is. And Verticon's doing this thing just like I don't know what Alpa does, but unions have the peer support.
Yeah.
So they're doing one for helicopters. Well, you don't have to
Bullshit.
be, they say they'll take fixed wing people too, but it's by Verticon.
But they're
So-
currently full with helicopter pilots that have mental health issues
I
for
mean,
flying helicopters.
if you're just a fixed wing person and you're like, hey, let me see if the helicopter guys can help me, you might have already like
You might have surpassed your mental health.
Yeah,
health
like
at
you're
that
searching.
point.
like you've reached the end of the internet. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying perhaps you have your own peers and leave the helicopter people or the vertical people, if you will. Well,
I
because they're
like to
not.
refer to them as the zero glide ratio people.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but listen.
Oh
So
boy.
I had a little bit of time,
Mhm.
and I'm all about making deals, wheeling and dealing, meeting people and stuff. Made some friends with your favorite manufacturer, Airbus.
Nice. Yeah.
And I got to
God,
check
they
out-
did that plane.
It's a helicopter. It's called the H-160.
No, that looked really cool. I saw a picture of that. That's
Dude,
wild.
that thing. So the marketing guy sat down with me and he's like showing me all the stuff. He's like, yes, you push the button and the GPS will hover. And I'm like, my drone does that. It's the exact same thing. And he's like, yes. And if the engine fails, it will go back and land. I'm like, dude,
Wow.
that is awesome.
Navy should buy some of those.
Yeah, who needs who needs a
Well,
helicopter pilot?
The French Navy is like
Oh,
it's going to
no.
be the French Navy helicopter, but
Oh, wow.
and they unveiled their H-140, and then Robinson has their R-88, so got to check those out, and that's
cool.
Yeah, helicopters.
I think that's pretty cool that you did a mental health thing keynote. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
that
It
is
was
fun,
not
yeah.
keynote. No, I was not the keynote. In
No.
fact, a dude with a podcast was the keynote guy.
That could be
Well,
you.
Yeah, you
No,
are
he
a
had-
dude with a podcast. I don't know.
No,
if
they
you
introduced
understand.
him as the wildly successful. He's a Coast Guard guy, and I forgot his name already.
That's awesome.
But
Not
then when
bad.
they
He's
got
not,
to
he's
me,
not that popular then.
he's like, and then C.W. Lamone from the Gonky and Mover, and then look, dude, I don't expect people to know us. I really don't. It's
That's
fine.
hilarious.
It's fine. They don't need to know
Gonky and Mover.
the Gonky and Mover. Or sorry, no, the Mover and Gonky. He's like from the Mover and Gonky, and I was like, that's
Perfect.
close. That's close enough.
You got most of the words.
Yeah. We didn't get wildly successful podcast, which okay, I get it. We're not. World
Yet.
needs ditch diggers too.
Yet.
Yes.
At this rate, this episode is going to set us back a couple notches. Like
I beg to differ.
So
We're
my
gonna
only
write-
goal when I
we're
get on here.
we're going to write this one off.
I write them all off, dude.
Gonky, you're recovering from whatever, and Mover's tired.
I feel great.
Wombat cannot carry the show, but those
That's not true.
earphones
Disagree.
can.
I love these things. These
What are
awesome.
they? Can you
They're-
talk to space with them?
Yes. Yes. It was
Like-
brought to me by
Like
the
they're changing
mothership.
colors as
Yeah.
we talk.
Yeah.
It's very
I'm insanely
modern.
jealous.
My
yeah.
people brought them to me. Enough said.
Do they want to sponsor a race car?
They already knew who's going to win.
All right.
The Delta guy.
No.
All right, Mover. We'll put the train back on the tracks. Douglas, sir, what do we have next on the topic list of topics, sir?
Let's take a look. I think it's this.
Ooh, J15 crash. Yeah, so J15 is basically a Chinese version of the flanker. What do you have? Ooh. Oh, make that. Yes, play again.
Even in China, people can't do film right.
Yeah, so that is a picture of a
Good
One
shoot.
good shoot.
yeah.
Is it single
man.
pilot? Single
What do you think
crew?
they're saying?
They're probably saying they're going to be on the Mover and Gonky show.
No, you guys understand what they were saying,
Oh,
right?
show. No,
You didn't hear
dude.
it?
Look, bro.
They said that was way better than the Growler. It went in with no splash.
no splash.
It was a 9 out of 10 instead of a 6.
He
out of
missed the
10.
pool,
But not
though,
as
dude.
good as Fat Amy.
Well,
Fat Amy
that's
did
true.
some things before it did that.
Yeah.
That's true.
But Fat Amy, I think, ended with a belly flop, right?
Yeah, which is appropriate. So
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. No, that's some pretty crazy footage. I mean, we just caught the tail end of it, gear down, 90 degrees. Looks like the pilot got out at the last minute, but
yeah,
I know it's China, but thankfully,
You know what?
Yeah,
All the
pilot-
YouTube comments are going to be like, DEI. It's DEI.
that doesn't exist in China, my
They're
friend.
going to be like, oh, it's DEI. Well,
Yeah,
it's Trump's fault.
because anytime, right, the stupids come out.
it's the tariffs, 100%.
Yeah, it's tariffs. It's Canada.
Yeah.
What else? How
yeah.
else can we hit all the marks for
Oh,
pissing
dude.
people off right now, Wombat?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
true.
Let us know in the comments. what
What's
you think.
going on in aviation right now?
Yeah.
I want to know.
It's so bad, even the Chinese are crashing jets.
I never once.
That's
thought
the bar
China
that
would
we set.
crash. Can't
Yeah.
believe
Oh,
it.
man.
But
No,
here's
but
the
hey-
question: what happens to the guy or gal videoing that? Do they exist still?
No.
I mean,
Dude, I don't know, man. I mean, is X even legal? Right? TikTok's not allowed in China. Is X allowed in China? I don't know.
no. Mm-mm.
So I don't know.
No.
Obviously leaked out. Thankfully there's a shoot. Hopefully the pilot survived. But yeah, man, I don't I think the flankers and the J-15's a great looking airplane. It saddens me to see a beautiful machine destroyed like that. But Mover, what do you think?
We'll have to wait for the results of the
You're not gonna- you're not
investigation,
gonna
Bird.
You're not going to
They-
Speculate out of respect for the Chinese fighter pilot that may or may not be straight to the gulag right now.
Yeah, I mean, like you didn't see a crash. You didn't see a crash.
I never saw a fireball.
No, there was a fireball at the end.
Oh,
Yeah, there was.
must have been the internet here. That was-
Yes,
I saw a shoot.
There was a shoot at the last minute. So
How do
that was just bad production values.
Don't send it to me, Wombat. Send it to somebody else if you want me to use something.
I don't know if I want you to use it. I just want you to look at it.
What do you?
Oh
what do
my
you
God.
think, man?
That's
There's
breaking.
breaking news.
But I don't want to be the one that gets.
Okay, here we go.
Oh boy. Hold on. Where's the banner?
Here, I'm gonna send this to you, Doug.
We got breaking news. Look
We
at
got
this.
breaking news.
Look at this.
I'd like to plug one more time. Please go over to Wake for Warriors and donate while they do this, because the latest and greatest comes from this show, and those
Well,
veterans need us. So
What we need is for everybody to forget that Wombat just sent that to me.
I didn't
Let
send
some,
anything to anybody. I
let
don't know
some
what you're
time
talking about.
elapse, and then we'll cover it. So let's go to another topic.
That's the
We'll hit
beauty of that's the beauty of a live show. dude.
it'll still be breaking after the next one, I promise.
No tag backs.
So we're not doing that.
Not
We will.
right now.
I'm lost. I was busy.
Let's uncover something. Gonky,
What's what?
is
Okay.
it so to speak or so to speak?
Depends on what part of the country you're from.
Is that what you're doing? We've had this
It
question
depends.
for a while.
Hold on a second. It depends on what part of the country you from. That's exactly what you just said. Rewind the tape. Your words were exactly, it depends on what part of the country you from.
I'm an efficient speaker, Wombat. I eliminate
Why use
words.
many words when few words do
You
the same
can-
job?
Come on, man. Time on the radio. Time is money. Let's go.
Why say many things? when
Bad
few things?
intelligence. Bad intelligence.
Okay, Doug, that's enough. Breaking news.
We're doing it.
He's
Ba,
ready.
ba,
He's
ba.
Breaking
He's-
news.
he's-
Wombat is now
Hang on, I gotta
looking
get
for
my
a
act
job.
together here.
Ba, 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 ba.
Oh,
Ba, ba,
dude.
ba, ba.
News. I mean, I'm not
Da,
here.
da, da.
Uh-oh.
Is this
Delta.
breaking news?
Yeah,
All right,
Delta
aircraft.
plane.
Light, you gonna read it?
Out of the scare at New York's LaGuardia
This
Airport,
guy
a Delta
will read it.
passenger jet coming in for a landing from Jacksonville, Florida. Its left wing striking the runway as pilots were lifting back off to go around again. Air traffic control telling them the wing had hit the ground. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, a Delta passenger jet attempting to land at New York's LaGuardia Airport.
Is this gonna get us
striking its
copyright
left wing
strike?
on
Yeah, I
the
wouldn't-
runway.
I
How about if I talk
Two
over it?
pilots on board
How about
appeared.
mute it? Mute it. Mute it. See if we get any good.
Somebody saw sparks flying from your wings, said the tower. Do you guys feel anything? They replied, no. Boy, that's a bad day.
80
80
passengers.
passengers.
So is that Envoy or Endeavor?
Yeah, it's not. It's not
wind
good.
gust 35 miles per hour. Some missed. Plane circled for another landing attempt. And
Delta
yes,
said go
landed
around.
safely and proceeded
Their
to
statement,
runway.
Delta's statement was go around.
We
I think we're
apologize to
missing the
Yeah, we're missing the-
paraphrasing of the report here.
Delta responded with few words, much like Gonky. Go
Oh, is
around.
this it? Oh no,
That's
no, this is-
February. That's
This is Toronto.
oh.
I don't like to see
I don't
that.
wanna see
Everybody survived. Everybody survived
Everybody
that.
survived.
Thankfully,
Okay.
thank God.
All right.
All right, I think we can pause.
Yeah,
Mr.
we can
Alt.
take that away.
Wow,
It was windy up there yesterday. That was or today or whenever. That storm was legit.
it was windy
Uh,
today. I mean, I'm not that far from there, and but yeah, that's kind of disheartening. Tagging a wing on a landing or a go around or at any time, having the wing strike the tarmac. Obviously, it just happened, so not a whole lot to report. But I know
Low wing aircraft though, right? So I mean that's
Yeah,
I don't know.
low
I've never
wing air-
flown an RJ.
no, but even in the sky bus, the engines hang kind of low, and sometimes when I throw in an aileron correction,
Uh-oh. Are you getting a bunch of text messages firing you now, Wombat?
Yeah, yes, I am actually.
you got to be careful.
Yeah. Hey, here's the deal. This is what I'll say about it from an unbiased view. That storm was legit. Airplanes have limits. Pilots don't exceed those limits as far as winds. They don't. And things happen, and that's what you're trained for, right? I mean, from everything I read, they flew away. It's not the best day. It's going to be some paperwork. It's going to be some metal, but there's 80 people plus crew on there that are okay, from my understanding at this moment. So we are so focused right now on aviation, everything. If I hear see one more comment, what's going on with aviation? Nothing's going on with aviation, short of the horrible incident at DC, right? And I followed up by Toronto. Like, those were big things, but aviation stuff happens all the time. You know what I mean? It really does. So it's just that it's now on the spotlight until something else is on the spotlight. Like, to use a Navy analogy, right? I mean, like, when you did something boneheaded at the ship, right? You just had to wait for your buddy to do something more boneheaded, right? And it was evident by the bolt that would hang over your chair if you bolted, right? And one of your buddies would run downstairs and put the bolt over your chair, and it was usually the guy that had it over his chair. It was like, thank God I got rid of it. That's aviation. It's just we're focusing on it so much now because everybody's hypersensitive. I don't think it's any less safe today than it was 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 2 decades ago. It's probably more safe than 2 decades ago. It is more safe than 2 decades ago. So but things are going to happen. I mean, we're not immune to it. And they did the right thing. They went around.
Yeah. It is on the forefront of people's minds, man. I mean, just
Sure.
like last week at church, like this, I was talking to this couple I just met, and they found out that I fly airplanes on occasion, and they asked me, they said, hey, we've been seeing a lot of crazy stuff in the news lately. And, is something going on? Is flying safe? Because, a lot of people, we joke about the news and stuff, but a lot of people are kind of skeptical about what they hear, right? So they just, and I told them exactly what you said, man. I said, we're trained to fly these airplanes exactly in the middle of their capabilities, and that's where we try to keep them. And our policies and procedures don't let us deviate much from that. And I said, we're trained here in the States. The culture is if you deviate from that, even a little bit, the other pilot is trained to let you know, right? So, and I told them that I feel like you do, Wombat, that it's as safe as it's ever been. And the spotlight, I think, also has definitely been put on it. I mean, if you go back and look, I mean, last year we talked about all kinds of stuff. I mean, 7-3 is going off the runway, United dropping tires. I mean, I just like it's just on and on, right? So luckily, none of that had any fatalities. But when you have a couple of global incidents where there are a lot of fatalities, the Jeju and the DC crash and stuff, that I think that really highlights things. And I'm not saying we don't have any room to improve, but
Of course not. Yeah,
but yeah, things, unfortunately things happen, but like you said, they landed the airplane, everybody got off, and a little bit of paperwork and find out what happened so we don't do it again. Mover,
exactly.
what do you think?
We are in a world of instant information now.
Literally.
I mean, yeah.
Breaking news.
Even 10 years ago, no one would have ever known. I mean, and that's part of it, right? Everything is when you're looking for red shirts, everything's a red shirt, right? You start seeing red shirts everywhere. Human factors has been a part of airline training for as long as I've been in the industry. And every time we brief incidents of, hey, we got away with one, but let's learn from it. Because it's humans operating complex machines in complex environments. And, there by the grace of God go I. Sometimes you get lucky and all you have is, hey, we got to do some paperwork because we've been a little metal. They're not the first ones. I mean, JFK had the Airbus that took out the lights, because of the wing low. I think just recently there was something at Austin that we didn't cover. It's good that we're open and transparent about it, But I think with that needs to be a little bit of perspective, because the general public, and I see this a lot in my YouTube videos in the comments. I hate to say it, but people are not that bright. They're just in general. So they glom on to things and get mad and want accountability and want to be, take the pitchforks out, and they don't understand the nuance. They don't understand how stuff happens, and it may just be everything lined up that day versus, well, we want one person to, we want to throw them under the jail. And so when something like this happens, yeah, we joke a little bit about, the breaking news and the go around and stuff, but you're right. They did, go arounds are a complex maneuver in an airliner, and they executed it and got the plane back safely. Will there be lessons learned? Absolutely. Will there be accountability? Yes. Like there will be accountability, but that is for the airline to determine, not a lynch mob, not the public. So
I couldn't agree more. And, you hear the comments, of this happened. I mean, the winds, I flew up from Palm Beach to Atlanta yesterday around that storm, and it was brutal. I mean, it was brutal. Like you don't need to be a geography major to understand that I had to go up to North Carolina to come back to Atlanta from Florida, like to get around this storm. And then add to it, we're right about to go through a cloud deck at 10,000 feet, and ATC goes, hey, RJ reported a severe turbulence. And I'm like, where? They're like, right in front of you. And right as I key the mic to say thanks, a whole bundle of Mylar balloons goes right down the right side of the plane. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if this lined up perfectly, those go down the motor, I crap that motor, and we hit severe, that is life. I mean, it's no different than you're driving down the highway and a semi blows out a tire, but it happens to miss you, or another car swerves and miss you. This is what we're trained for. And that's where, listen, we can all improve. Airlines can improve. Industries can improve. This is not just aviation related. You name it, right? Every industry can improve, and we will improve. The thing that bothers me to some degree, depending on who it's coming from, is like, well, this is typical because it's profits over safety. And I take offense to that, because as much as I joke on here and as much as I like to have a good time, when I put on that uniform and I put on those wings and I know there's 200 people behind me that are relying.
And the hat.
There's 200 people behind me that are relying on me, right? I take safety paramount. Like, there is nothing else. And I joke that it's because I'm on the plane too, but in reality, it's because there's moms and dads and kids and all this. And you guys are the same that are on your plane. They're relying on you. They have no idea how to fly that plane or how to get it safely on the ground. They just trust that you are going to do it. And I take that. So when people are like, no, this is the airlines, that's not what's happening. I promise you, that is not what's happening right now. Safety is paramount. Things happen. Things have always been happening. It's just under the spotlight right now.
Yeah. And one other thing is that you talked about, profits over safety. So if you have some high vis accident, your profitability is going to go down, right? People aren't going to want to.
100%.
It's like
lawsuits.
100%.
I mean, it could be like, it's a case in point, Boeing, right?
Yeah.
737 Max, right? How much money has that cost them as a company, right? I bet it's cost Southwest money. I know it has. And people don't want to fly 737s. And guess what? They were planning on having these airplanes as part of their future plan, right? But they're not there anymore. So safety is important. And the other thing I forgot to mention was every company, the military did this better, in my opinion, but every company tracks incidents because we self-report, like every little mistake that we make, we self-report it, and the companies track that. And if they start to see a trend, every year in the training cycle or whatever training events that, a particular has throughout the year to keep their pilots, flight attendants, mechanics, whatever current, these things will become training items, right? Or at least discussion items And in the Navy, we did it, I think, better. You know, every year I got my check, my rehack in the Hornet. It was, hey, last year we crashed 4 jets because of this, this, and this. We're going to run through all those scenarios. And you're going to see what led, you know, that kind of stuff. So truly was learning from other people's mistakes. But, and I think, you know, the companies do that, number one, because they care about safety, but then also a safer company translates, in my opinion, you know, a better business. And that's why they're there. They're in business.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between when we were in the military and at the airlines is the military didn't have to turn a profit.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. And it was a smaller thing. If you think about any one of the years you were in the Navy and how many incidents there were in the Hornet, it was very easy to go, here are the 4 or 3 or whatever. Let's go over them to the small cadre of pilots that are coming through that fly that airplane. In the airlines, I mean, there's tens of thousands of pilots that fly different airplanes, but I can tell you firsthand, like, you know, my word to God, that I saw it firsthand at our airline, and it's no different than any other airline. I don't care what anybody says. The data of what is going on is so much tracked. And it was presented to me as somebody who wrote recurrent as to this is exactly what we need to focus on.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, fit it into your, you know, X hour sim, because these are priorities. It's not a you should do this. It's you shall teach this stuff because this is the latest safety trend and we want to stop it now before it becomes an incident. So, but it's so easy for people to just get online and be like, oh, pilots. It's like, cool, bro. Like, it's just like when people would, you know, the analogy I give is when people would come on and be like, your book sucks. And I'm like, probably, but I'd like to see the link to your book. Can you show me how you did it so I can learn? Oh, you've never written a book. Relax. Yeah. Let the people that are professionals do their job. Things are going to happen. And that crew, from everything I know right now on the 17th, and I'll get a hate mail from it. Look, they executed a go around, like Boober said. It's a dynamic maneuver, and they came back around and landed, and everybody's safe. So my number one brief when I brief somebody, our threat brief is our job, period, is point A to point B safely. If point B happens to be where they bought a ticket to, that's extra credit. Period. Like, I don't actually care about that. It's point A to point B safely. If I could say I did that, I can learn from the rest of this stuff. So
nice.
I don't know.
Doug, what do we got from the chat, sir?
We need to get through these before we lose the context.
Yeah, we may have. Code Monkey, the new Cadillac F1 team is looking for a driver. Mover, just saying.
Formula
Little Wombat.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Baby Bat.
Baby Bat.
Mini
Joey.
Bat.
Mini Bat.
They're called Joeys, but it's fine.
Kenneth Johnson, do y'all podcast with the assumption Juan is watching?
No, I think he's too busy.
He's way too busy crushing.
He's cranking out a video right now about
he is 100%, dude.
Crosswind thing. He doesn't have time for us. I assume no one watches.
Nice. And I'm same. Then I'm pleasantly surprised when somebody says, "I watch your show." Like, what? That's awesome. Kevin Morgan says, "Swos are not human." Mike Tyson, dude, I would never actually. Yeah, it's just a joke. Anyways, thanks, Kevin. Colin Kelly, Deep Intel, you guys are the best. And actual pilots. Oh man, I like you a lot, Colin.
It stings because it's true.
Moving on.
I love it. Lisa, DSP highlights role of voluntary safety reports. Yeah, super important.
You know, they had all that data for DCA and they didn't do anything with it
yet. I mean, they're still
leading up to it. Like,
when
we did the NTS3 report, they had 85 incidents that they went back and looked at that they knew about.
Well, yeah, I mean, dude, it's one of these things, right? So, you know, whatever airline who had so many near misses goes to the FAA and says something needs to happen. And then I'm sure there's all kinds of pressure to keep, you know, keep DCA open. And
of course there is. Yeah.
Well, it's not. I mean, now they've rerouted I don't know if are we covering this about the new helicopter routes?
We weren't supposed to, but we don't have a script. Spit it out.
They've created new helicopter routes in DCA.
Yeah.
As a result of the crash, when it should have been done as a result of the 900,000 operations with X 15,000. Like
I saw
they
that.
they had data
Sure.
that said this is on its way to being a problem.
Yeah. The if you were on the helicopter route 4 and you were as close to the shore, so if you were as far, what would it be, north, northeast as possible,
East side.
East.
and an airliner was passing over you on glide slope, you'd had 75 feet of clearance. So that's
Plenty.
yeah.
I have never hit another airplane that I was 75 feet away from.
That's
That is
true.
a fact.
But I mean that's way too.
It's
I mean,
it's ridiculous.
like Mover's saying, there's overwhelming evidence that but something should have changed before that accident happened. But
I don't disagree. But I mean,
we live and learn, man. I mean,
You disagree?
I don't disagree.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't at all. I agree with you. But to take that spotlight off aviation, like there was a time we used to get in cars without seatbelts, right? And people were going through windshields. How many people went through windshields on accidents before they're like, maybe we should restrain them? Like, and I'm not, that's a bad analogy. My point being is like, this isn't aviation specific. This is across all industries and everything. It takes time. And unfortunately,
it's written in blood.
again,
Dude.
just speaking to me, roll the banner. I think a lot of the bureaucracy that goes on in the DC area is probably what led to something not getting fixed soon.
No, it's not that one. It's it doesn't represent his company.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like, I really do. I think there's a lot of people, politicians, that want to have DC open, that want, because it's more convenient.
Yeah, that's what I was.
It sucks. It does, and I feel bad. I mean, dude, that's my industry. Like, I don't want to see people die. I want babies and moms and dads and kids to come up, and I want them to want trading cards or whatever thing is the next viral trend, and I want them to be happy to get to go see their families or go to races or go wherever. I don't care. I just want them to get there safely. That's the most important thing. But unfortunately, sometimes the machine is too big and it takes too long. And we saw that in the military. I mean, how many times wasn't a threat identified?
Written in blood, dude.
And we're sitting there like, hey, guys, somebody's going to die. And they're like, shh. Like, no. Like, we're going to mort somebody. Shh. Like, no. Seriously, like smoking hole, we're going to lose one of our friends. And then it happens. And then the higher ups are like, well, we didn't know. What?
Yeah.
And it's like,
dude, 100% somebody on the Gettysburg was like, hey, this software, we're going to accidentally shoot down one of our own guys.
Yeah, no. They were like, shh. We have to report ourselves green because we're going on deployment.
It requires a human. So there's no way a human would allow it to do that.
No.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. The point I was trying to make at the beginning, as long as the facts that we literally just talked about on the LaGuardia thing, bravo Zulu to them. They got the plane back on the ground.
Yeah.
Cool. And there's going to be other things, but you have professionals out there that are very professional in their job. They take it very seriously. Like, it's not a bunch of cowboys that are just out there shooting from the hip that are like, I'm going to, see what this does today. Like, I don't know. Like there is a massive amount of training that goes into being an airline pilot. And there's a massive amount of redundancy, and there's a massive amount of just other things. The support network it blows my mind compared to what we dealt with in the military. It was kind of shooting from the hip where they're like, go get them, boys. And you're like, that's the best plan you came up with? Go get them? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Launch. Huh?
Yeah. Hope this works out. Like, so.
Yeah. Aaron says, I learned everything I know about the airlines from the airplane.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
pretty much.
Yep.
I learned everything from Instagram.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not
Like
me.
I didn't know how to copy a IFR clearance until I saw
Oh, come on.
somebody.
What about how to put on your uniform? You
How do you get
from-
ready? How do you work out? I mean, how do I make breakfast? I don't know. Like,
I saw one of the influencers, and this cracks me up because it was a really funny comment that made me LOL actual, which is my favorite. But the comment to one of these, and I forget even which one it was, but it was like the typical like follow me getting ready for work. And somebody at the end of the video was like, great, I just watched you put on your clothes and walk. Awesome. And I was like,
I don't understand. Like, so I guess
it's clicks.
No, but like, I guess to like the Cessna kids that are wearing the epaulets and the, you know, they do the uniform thing and their little Cessna Academy cadets or whatever.
Okay.
Like, it's a flex, right? Because you are in an Airbus and you got your little handheld thing that looks goofy. Looks like you're talking into one of those like old school, old timey, like, you know.
Yeah. It's a little, we pay homage to the history we came
yeah.
from.
Okay.
You're
So it's
welcome.
like you're like Ma Bell with the old phone.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a flex to that. But for the rest of us, I'm like, where's CPDLC? And then Gonky's like, what's CPDLC? I'm like, that's who this is aimed at. Like the influencers are made for like Gonky, who doesn't know that the rest of the world, we don't talk to anybody if we don't have to. I don't want to film myself talking to somebody because that means stuff's going wrong. That means I've got to do extra work. I don't want it.
There's probably paperwork involved at the end of it.
You could make it a comedy thing because when I'm in like a country that doesn't have that and they're like Spanglish, you know, and they're like, like Mexico City or Cancun or Barcelona. I mean, I'm like, what? Please let it work.
Unable.
Yeah. And then did you say Zulu? No, X-ray. Those don't sound like anything alike.
Spell it phonetically.
No.
Juan, Z as in xylophone. Like what?
Dude.
Uno, ocho, cinco, cinco. Like what? No.
Yeah, you're like,
unable.
I'm gonna need you to spell this slower.
And the captain's like, are we done yet? Did you check this already? Anyway.
Dude, I don't even know where I'm at right now. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to go home. It's go home day. I don't want to be in this plane anymore.
I'm trying not to cry openly. Okay.
Yeah. Why? Tired. The pillows suck.
What else we got, Doug?
Do you want to finish them up or you want to pause for the next topic?
Keep on going. This is
right.
Easter as it is.
AMT, don't ask why so many are happening. Ask why so few are happening per number of flights. Yeah.
Per person mile.
Yeah. Statistically speaking. Yeah. Thank you. Crazy Pete. Hello. $5 for mover to race, but he has to say Herc's rule. 4 fans of freedom forever, baby. Push it up into stage 5 after prop. Oh, geez. You might hit 200 knots
for me.
Here we are, 200 knots.
We'll clip it.
Are we on the low level yet?
Yeah,
we've been on the low level for the last 30 minutes.
Yes.
Oh,
we're still on the takeoff roll. Thanks, Crazy Pete. Yeah, Gun to Blade, Evening Mover Wombat Doug, and Bionic Knee Gonky. Thanks, man.
Is it bionic?
Toilet brush. Wow, man. Doug motion sim fun. There you go.
Nice.
Wow.
I expect my next check to be adjusted appropriately.
Taxes are rough, Doug. Careful.
Yeah. Good thing we got him under contract, Mover.
Yeah, the mover and Gonky tax. You think tariffs are bad? You should check out their taxes.
Wait till you see this one.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Doug is the 51st state.
Jeez.
For now.
Hope for what? Hope for hip rehab, rewatch all the mover reunion. Ruin movies. Love all the episodes. When I see an E2C, an F-16C, or an F-18, I see your faces. Love you. Thanks, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just leave that up for a second. I'd like to point out which aircraft he mentions first.
In order. The order has nothing to do.
It's alphabetical.
It's not. It's
E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Yeah, that's alphabetical.
Jeez.
Perfect.
That was alphabetical and then numerical. So
Patrick, just to help Mover. Gosh,
thank you.
All kinds of love tonight.
I need all that. Well, you're mostly helping Gonky.
No, you're helping Mover too. And Doug, Ethor, Gonky not having CPDLC. I can't even. He flies for a budget, doesn't he? Depends on what budget.
He's a step wise off of a budget. There's a budget. There's Gonky, budget, and then like Southwest.
Are we going by
And
ticket
then-
prices or pilot pay? Because
Do y'all even charge for tickets?
Yeah, I think it's just a free for all.
You
I mean,
need to
clearly
tell a
you're the
pilot.
only
That's the
you're the
real
only
thing.
airline that allows facial hair, obviously, right?
yeah, makes the mask seal better.
Yeah.
He flies for Emirates.
One more.
93 Navman. Gonky, damn it. Gonna switch to sound power phone. Maybe that makes it sound better. One less Chinese fighter jet with no loss of life. That's a win. Yeah, valid. They're cranking them off the assembly line, I'm sure. All right, Doug, what do we got next, man? The train is off the tracks. F-30. Oh, geez.
Is it that?
Yeah, let's do it. F-35 kill switch doesn't exist. Lockheed alleviates U.S. allies' anxiety over warfighter. So,
Oh man, I could stir up a lot on this.
yeah.
Dude, read that guy's name.
No, I can't. I can't even. I can't even. Doug, you're the only educated one. You know what his name is. Can you read that?
I don't know where to put the emphasis. It looks like Prabhat Ranjan Mishra,
See, right?
Wow, that was really good, Doug.
Yeah,
That was
dude.
actually
but it might be
really great.
Prabhat.
Yeah, Doug. Yes, perfect, man.
Crab hat,
Yes.
so to speak.
It
Yeah.
depends what part of the country you're from.
It says here on the article, some recent European media reports suggest that the presence of such a kill switch that Washington could use to weaken another country's F-35's fighters' power. However, reports reveal that if the U.S. firm cuts off support to the jets and stops supplying the parts and software needed for the maintenance of the jets, Washington can achieve the same results, although it will take time. All right. So basically, the crux of this article is there's some magic switch or some button that they can push in DC to render the F-35 quote useless or severely
It's-
degraded.
It's budget
I have a
button. It's
question
the
immediately.
no more foreign aid. Good luck.
Yeah. So I think that's total crap. So in Malaysia, the prime minister said that the U.S. had what he called it the sort. He said that when they bought the Hornets, that we did not sell them the source code for the jet, and without that source code, they could not program the airplane to attack other countries that Washington didn't agree with. Having flown those airplanes, I will tell you that was pure bullshit. You look at Iran, right? They bought Tomcats and F4s when the U.S. left, and there was some sabotage going on there. They're still flying those airplanes. They flew them in combat against the Iraqis. I'm not an F-35 expert, but the idea that there's a kill switch in the airplane, I think, is pretty crazy. Mover, what do you think?
All right. I think we should combine topics on this one because there was also the news of countries that were never even going to get the F-35 saying we're not going to buy the F-35 now.
Okay.
So this was part of that too. Canada, for example, Canada is, and I think they still are going to get the F-35.
Yeah, they paid for 12 of them already.
Yeah. So here's
And then Portugal.
the thing, and I'm not going to name anybody, but Gonky, we've had this conversation with other fighter pilots.
Yes.
And the problem when you say we're not going to do this is then what's your alternative? Because unless you have an indigenous fifth gen production, you now have to go somewhere else. So are you going to go to Russia and get the Su-57 or the checkmate that's currently doesn't really exist in any real capacity? Or are you just going to not have a fifth gen? And then when it's time to actually integrate with your allies, because we're going to get over all this. Like this is all, I mean, there's a lot of, yes, chest thumping, saber rattling, whatever. It's nonsense. It's not realistic. Now, if your country didn't need it in the first place, well, that's another discussion. Like we've talked about Canada and the Gripen and whether that would be better suited, whether they actually need it or whatever. But if you're saying you're not going to buy it because you're mad about current politics, well, I mean, cut your nose off to spite your face. it's going to be a rough time for you unless you can find somebody who can do it. That said, to the point of kill switches and remote control and all that stuff, the people that know better. It's the politicians that are idiots that are saying these things. Like, politicians are not smart people, typically. Some are. There are some very smart ones, but for the most part, we don't elect them because they're the smartest of us. We elect them for many other reasons. So they will say things to rile up bases and raise money and get people talking. And then 5 years later, they're going to get their 12th F-35 as, whatever the next administration is. So, like, people get all amped up about it, and then nothing really ends up happening. And that's, I don't know. Wombat, what do you think?
I have absolutely nothing intelligent to say on this, but I will say something. To keep it simple, 0 times any number is 0. So how could you need a kill switch to render something already useless? Doesn't make any sense.
That's another
Valid.
argument altogether.
Well, dude, the other thing, yeah,
we talked about it before, right? It's not in the news with any of the stuff going on right now. Top Gun Maverick proved to us that if it's a GPS degraded environment, you can't use them. So cool, you got if it starts at a 0, you don't need a switch to keep it a 0. It's still a 0. It's very simple. This is basic math.
I love it. Well, dude, additionally, the other thing that I think in my opinion, a positive side effect is, and you talked about it, dude, I'm sorry, but in the West, the F-35 shouldn't be the only option. It's bad for progress, right? I think in Europe is perfectly capable of. They built a Typhoon that they have a long history of some of the greatest flying machines ever created. Like, why doesn't Europe have their own 5th gen? I get it, it's expensive, but I would argue that Lockheed having a stranglehold on the marketable 5th gen market.
Oh boy, Gonky's not suicidal.
Not suicidal. Is not good. It's not good for competition, right? Because they have no one to compete against. And like you said, if you don't want the F-35, then I guess you're not doing the 5th gen thing. So I think it may have a positive side effect in that, Europe, Canada, I don't know, these other countries, if they're mad at us, that they invest back into their own aviation industries, or maybe form another conglomeration or something. I don't know, man. You never know, but I do think it's weird that there could only be one, because hey, even here in the States, let's say the entire world's flying F-35s. Well, if they have some major part malfunction that downs them all,
an engine problem,
yeah, or
that may or may not, TR or whatever upgrade that nobody,
exactly. So I think it's actually healthy. It could stimulate some healthy, dare I say it, diversity in the 5th gen,
100%.
in the 5th gen
100%.
market.
what is 5th gen?
And that's the other thing, man. I was thinking about this too. Exactly. What is
5th gen? Yeah.
People like to throw stealth. Dude, stealth is like 50-year-old technology, right? And I'm sorry, but like a lot of the configurations that I see the F-35 flying around in, it's not stealth, dude. When you got bombs and stuff hanging off the wings, you might as well send them an email.
Double ugly, and I got the gun pod, and it's like,
yeah. Now I get it; they can slick it off and use it as a stealthy strike fighter. But the thing is they proved in the early '90s that via tactics you can still shoot down stealth fighters. Right, the F-117 that got shot down, they just used smart tactics to shoot it down. Right, now they shot it down with a gun. Right, so it's a technology. Technologies are defeated, and I think it's a little crazy to think that stealth is not stealth forever.
Wait, let's back up for a second. What
do you mean? What?
They shot down an F-117 with a gun?
Yeah, and help me out, Doug, with my years. Like 93, was it 94?
It's Serbia.
In
in 99. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, and they figured out.
Wikipedia says it was a SAM.
I thought it was a gun. I thought it was a ZSU.
I thought it was too.
Well, regardless, they shot it down. I mean, dude, the point is it was shot down. I get, dude. Okay, I get it mixed up. I get a SAM mixed up with the. But my point is they shot down a stealth fighter.
Right. Yeah. No. I
You know,
take-
I mean,
I
I
take
like,
the point. Okay. I was
and they
confused.
used tactics, and you know that's
Yeah, which we
ultimately
are not going to talk about for
No.
fear of jail.
correct. I don't want to go to jail, but all I'm saying is like,
I think you've proven you clearly don't know enough that they're concerned about you giving out classified secrets, Gonky. So
it was a gun. It was a.
you've been one up by
Browning-
Wikipedia, which doesn't even have a page.
It was a
for me
30
yet,
6.
so-
It was a
30-06 was-
golden BB.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Is like I think it's healthy that it could be healthy to stimulate some.
Well, yeah. You bring up the other point about what is the public perception of how this stuff works. I mean, I did an AI video about the Chinese red eye, and everybody's like, well, it's dogfighting. They're going to win in the dogfight. And it's like, dude, an AIM-9X pulls like 60 Gs. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like,
its end game is better than yours.
yeah. And it's like, well, the human in the loop. And it's like, don't care. Nothing's pulling 60 Gs except the missile that's going to
Fly up your
Sure,
keys.
You can pull 60 Gs. You won't be awake to enjoy
nothing
it.
you carry will be part of your aircraft either. That 500-pounder off the wing is going to make the wing go.
It'll continue going straight.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people know enough that they know, they play these games. They see the TV, they watch Top Gun Maverick, and they're like, this is the way it is. And that drives policy.
Yeah.
Because
That's
then-
what's scary, is you're right.
that ends up driving policy, is because they talk to their representative, and they're like, oh, my constituents have said that, this F-35. We make fun of Fat Amy because she's not a good looking girl. But as far as capability,
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
there is nothing even close. It does exactly what it needs to do, and it does it well. Now,
And ugly.
does the contractor side need work? Absolutely. But is
It
the
cooks really
airplane
good.
Yeah. Is the airplane suitable? Yes. And so if you want to play in the sandbox and get along, it's a good option. It's a great option. If you're an ally and you want to be 5th gen, there you go. I like what you're saying too, Gonky. Can you develop your own? Yeah. I mean, maybe
I think it would raise our game, right?
Well, I mean, and yeah, aren't the Brits developing something right now, like a
I hope they
Tempest
are.
or something? So
Dude, I hope they are, man.
Yeah,
because
but to dumb this down for somebody like me, you have to look at it like this. Like, could you develop your own? Yes. But saying you're not going to keep or take these planes because of this
Politics.
kill switch that somebody wrote about is ridiculous. It's like saying, I need a car to get to work, right? To make money, to do things for my family. And the only one available is a Chevy. No, I'm not driving a Chevy. Like, that's ridiculous. It's like you don't have another option right now. Now, once you have another option,
well,
because you've developed something internally, that's different. But,
even-
if you don't have another option, you're not going to throw away these billion-dollar aircraft that you've already paid for. It's not gonna happen.
even still, who's the kill switch for?
Well,
Right?
that's the thing.
Because,
Yeah.
so if we got to the point, this is probably going to ruffle some feathers.
Oh,
Put the
boy.
disclaimer up. But if we got to the point where we were selling you F-35s one year, and you are now worried that we're going to use a kill switch, what
You have
what
bigger
else?
problems.
Yeah, yes, you are on. We're not friends anymore, and all that comes with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We have other switches
Yeah.
that are way
there's-
worse
there's
than a kill switch on
whole-
an F-35.
Yeah. I mean, it's that okay. I mean,
Countries have switches that turn everything into glass. Like,
Yeah.
you won't have to worry about your
Ha-
F-35.
have I introduced you to our carrier strike group?
Yeah. It's so good it practices on itself.
Yeah. It gets so bored, it's practically shooting itself down.
Practically.
Yeah, it's I mean, all jokes aside, it's the geopolitics of it are
This
a
ain't the
little
news
sad.
or nothing.
That's true. The geopolitics of it are a little bit sad, but the fact that it might spur some competition is
That's a
good,
good
I
thing.
think. But
That's a good thing.
All this stuff that's going on right now is transient.
100%.
it's
It's just people
100%
trolling
transient.
people to get feathers ruffled to show power.
clickbait. It's clickbait.
It's 100%.
If you are getting emotional about anything that's going on right now, short of life and property, right? Short of losing loved ones, you need to go outside, practice your square breathing, touch some grass.
Yep.
Maybe sponsor a race car.
Put the phone down.
Put the phone down. I'm serious because
Yeah.
like in the history of all this stuff, it's going to be okay. Like the rhetoric and the nonsense, we move on and it becomes the next crisis. And it's just
There's
the
always
way
a
it is.
crisis. There's always a crisis.
There's always somebody saying something that made somebody
Oh, yeah.
mad. And, until the day it actually happens, which I doubt, just take a breath.
Well,
touch
the
the
other
grass.
thing too is like 24-hour news is what creates there always has to be a crisis.
Oh, yeah.
Number
sound
one.
bites,
And
everything's
number
a sound bite.
two, what can you do about it? I
Be
talk
mad
to
on
FOs about this
YouTube?
all the time. Yeah. Like focus on what you can control, right? That's one of the things that they teach in aviation very early on. Aviate, navigate, communicate. What can I control? Can I control what they're doing with alleged kill switches and F-35? No, I absolutely cannot. They didn't ask me. Can I control what certain political leaders say about other countries? No, I can make jokes about them because it's ridiculous. But he didn't ask me. So it's like, stop being so freaking angry about stuff that you can't affect and like go hug your kids.
Yeah.
Or like put down the ho-hos and work out a little or go touch grass or something that's good
Pet your
for
dog.
you.
Pet a
Plus-
dog.
Pet a dog.
Plus, it's like I realize nobody cares about what my opinion is, anyways. So
That's because you haven't said the right things. Because I'll tell you, a lot of
Yeah.
people care what I think about Canada, apparently.
We love
But
Don't
they
say
didn't
it
listen
like
to what
that.
I actually think.
Don't
It's
say it
even
like
funnier.
that.
no, but I get what you're saying, dude. But yeah,
Dude, I will go on record. I love Canada.
yeah,
I love
So do I, dude.
Canadians.
yeah.
I love our NATO partners. Like
Yeah,
we have met some
of course.
awesome NATO fighter pilots, and I've flown with some great, of all countries. So at the bro level, this is not a thing.
No.
It's
Well,
just
dude,
not.
very rarely. I mean, I've traveled all over the world and lived all over the world, but like very rarely does a government reflect the people. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like you go to pick a country, man. I mean, I lived in Saudi Arabia for a long time, obviously Malaysia, and I traveled all over. Dude, people very basic. They just want to be able to provide for their families. Someplace safe, someplace where they can make a living, and they care about left alone, friends and family, dude. It's really simple. Like different religions, cultures, dude. It's not nearly as volatile as the news would make you think.
Yeah.
Because they have to.
What's next, Doug? We got anything from the audience?
We got tons, man. Hit it. APOC. $5 for a mile of gas in the vet for mover and 15 for razor plates for Gonky. I'm gonna need,
Oh, dude,
that's gonna hurt, dude.
I looked at selling the vet and I can't.
Because it's so awesome.
No, if it's apparently it's got the VIN code for the 6-month warranty thing. So if I do it, the new guy
Wow.
loses the warranty.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob Stanton, they flew him in Maverick Tomcats. Yeah. Tomcats. Thanks, man. Colin says some folks here in Canada are losing their minds over this kill switch garbage and want us to get the grip in. Ridiculous that people don't want our CAF to have best stuff. Yeah, Colin's kind of crazy. I mean, they've been flying Hornets for how many decades now?
Yeah.
They've been customers of US built aircraft. I mean, you think they would know by now, right?
I wonder how much they would lose if they backed out. Like what the spent money on that contract already is.
I think they paid for 12 already. I think I read.
It's ridiculous.
But that's not to say that the Gripen would not be a suitable aircraft for them.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? I mean, but that's a different argument. You know, when you're talking about this, is it
Well,
what's best tactically, not what's best politically?
well, we had a, we always had a Canadian exchange guy at the RAG. I won't say his name, but I mean, he's awesome dude. And and he flew the Super Hornet, and he told me, he's like, yeah, he had to write a report, evaluation of the airplane. And so, we were good friends, and I'd ask him, he's like, one of the things in Canada, he's like, we fly like up on the Northern Territories. He's like, dude, if you go down, you're going to die. Like, helicopters not getting out there fast enough. He's like, so, 2 engines. I mean, that's why the Super Hornet was on the table as a strong contender. Yeah, it's not as 5th gen-y as the F-35, but their type of mission, when you're intercepting whatever bears up over the Northern Territories, it's nice to have 2 motors. So you have some, or the EX. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
Block 3 Super Hornets or EXs
or EX. Yeah. So, as far as, and they're NATO allies. So in any kind of conflict, you got to think some kid's going to bring the 5th gen toy to the table. It doesn't have, not everybody has to have it. Right. So, but yeah, I mean, he said the Super Hornet is a strong contender because of the multi-engine, but
the Rafale's two engine, right?
Yeah.
Because that was one of the things they were talking about, is replacing it with that. And I'm like,
yeah, but a little bit shorter. I think a little bit shorter legs with the Rafale. But I mean, dude, it's an airplane is you try to get as specific with the mission as you can to get the right airplane. When we're trying to buy one for one size fits all, it's tough.
The answer is always what fits the mission, not anything else is nonsense.
That's correct. It though? Because that's not exactly what.
Well, no, in a ideal scenario.
Gotcha. Like
people looking out
based on planes that.
Yeah, looking out for the correct interests of the people that they represent and being
spending the taxpayer
stewards of money.
Yes.
Anyway, next.
Thanks, Colin.
Thanks, Colin.
Zippers. The U.S. maintains key pieces of the NATO data sharing environments that can't be replicated. Pulling the data environment makes the F-35 less capable while also not being a kill switch. Yeah, I mean, if you pull your support, much like the Iranians found out, you're gonna suffer. But depending on the country and their motivation, I mean, they'll figure things out. Will it be as good as it was? I don't know.
Yeah, that's why you got to keep these things under warranty.
Yeah, that's right.
Factory warranty. They're too expensive to fix.
Yeah, but those aircraft, I mean, we have had foreign material sales for as long. ITAR, I mean, that has existed. It's always been like that. That's always been we have the U.S. version, because why wouldn't you? And then you have the export version, and the Russians do this. Gonky, the Malaysians got the Su-30 MKM with what? It was just a plane with 2 motors, and then everything else was.
The avionics were lacking, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that's every country does that, and that's why countries like Turkey, I mean, they're making their own. They're developing their own. I mean, that may be what you have to do. South Korea, same thing.
Yeah, if you want total control, you got to build your own. I mean,
you could have a mix. I mean, South Korea is doing that. I mean, they've got U.S. jets, and now they've partnered with Lockheed Martin. The T-50 or the KA-50, and was it the KF-21 is the stealth version of that? I mean, there's options.
Dude, that's my thing. We're not talking about it tonight, but I was reading like the Naval Aviation Yearly Review, and that's one of the things that the Admiral was talking about. He wasn't happy about the depth of the magazines, right? Like how much missiles and bullets and stuff that we have. And I think there's a place for these really expensive aircraft like the F-35, but they're, like you said, dude, you can have a mix. There's also a place for conventional. Yeah, I'd argue. I'll tell you what, there's nothing I did in Afghanistan you could not do with an A1 Skyraider.
Yeah.
Keep the A-10.
Did not need to be in an F-18. I could have done it in an A1 Skyraider from.
No, it was actually a detriment to be in an F-18
It
because
was.
you burn more gas, you spent bigger turn circles. I mean,
You
Right.
had to go through 35 pages of JDAM checklist.
Yeah, but my point is like I think in the long run, we talked about it before, it'd probably be cheaper, and you probably have better trained, more lethal crews to execute the mission. So I think you're right, Mover. You don't need. I mean, you can have a mix. I think it's actually smart, to have a mix because
specialists.
specialists. That's right.
Yeah.
And then, like we mentioned before, if it's a problem across the fleet and grounds everything, you're not left without an air force. So. Yeah, thanks, Zipper. Anything else, Doug? What is that? Gundam Blade? Doug put the disclaimer when somebody says Canada. We love Canada.
Jeez. I love Montreal. Montreal is one of my favorite cities.
Yeah. We don't fly there, so I don't know. 93 Nav Man, the first instant media you get about these things are the one you ignore first. MC can be loaded for whatever. We had a hard time getting source codes right from Boeing on stand-up for Growler, not new. Well, there you go. We can't even get the source codes for our own airplanes. Perfect.
Kicking our own butts.
McLaren, wow, thank you. Love the stream, boys. Hearing aviation news from a pious perspective is very helpful. Good luck, Mover, with your car racing dreams. That's awesome, man.
What does that say? OUIO?
Where?
What are they doing?
Yeah, in the avatar.
Oh, is that Ohio?
Looks like it might be.
Ohio.
The Ohio State, bro. Yeah.
Thank you.
I was born a
See,
Buckeye.
See,
dude,
were
I'm
you?
not-
Were
look,
you?
Sometimes the cat shot brain is just intention.
Dude, that was like Rain Man right there.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
very
good.
much.
That's my guess. It might not be. All right. 93 Navman says, my guess is 5th gen would be the FA role. I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. I think
Who knows?
5th gen's more the it's more the F than it is the
Attack.
A.
It's more the attack.
Is it?
Yeah,
Sneak in,
probably
sneak out.
to take out the enemy air defenses,
Yeah.
maybe.
As long as it's not a
Spike off.
GPS denied jammed environment. And then you
That's
can't.
what Super Hornets are for, bro.
You don't even know what the plot of part 3 is.
No, I don't think they do yet.
All we know is that
They're just trying to make it before Tom Cruise dies. So
Captain
dude,
Maverick is
He's
like
never
70.
gonna die, dude. He ascends into wherever. Doesn't he go to that ranch and they pick him up and take him wherever the next place is?
The Bunny Ranch.
No, it's that ranch in
The Bunny Ranch in Fallon. We found him.
We found him.
He's got his government credit card too. That's how we found him.
He's wearing his flight jacket.
wrong.
Sorry, I was a little too close to reality there. But anyways, Tom says you see
Not
what
Tom
our-
Cruise though. Tom Pasco.
Yes, Tom Pasco. That's right. You see what our CSGs do to ourselves. Imagine what we
Fact.
It was a warning shot.
that needs to be painted on a Super Hornet somewhere, man.
Oh, dude.
Fighting checkmates, yeah.
It's the whole black eye joke about you done told him
That's right.
the Super Hornet is a victim of domestic violence, which is never funny, by the way.
Never.
I'm sorry. Never
Well, in
funny.
this case, it might be a little bit, but
It literally was domestic violence.
it was.
Yes, very violent too.
Well, that's
Yeah.
because that Super Hornet was in a toxic relationship, is what
Very,
that was.
with the plane guard.
Yeah.
Gundam Blade, Wombat for president, VP mover, and Gonky is. I'm just, dude. I'm just the face.
Secretary of Education.
There you go. I'll be the secretary of education. Schooling ain't important.
Gonky is Doji.
We're going racing.
Gonky's gonna
Yeah.
run NASA for us.
Yeah, dude.
No.
This
Wicked-
ain't space or nothing.
Wicked Spider Black.
This ain't
says-
rocket science or nothing.
Wicked Spider Black says alien greets SpaceX crew as they dock at ISIS.
Who told you?
ISS.
Oh, you're-
ISS. Sorry.
What's your source, Wicked? Who do you know?
I like that
Alien.
dog though.
Yeah. We'll get a read about it.
Makes me
Thanks,
miss my
man.
puppy.
Zippers. Point is people are translating and missing the point. Yeah. Fact, dude. Fact. Oh, hey, it's the Kevin. In the civilian world, or I'm sorry, in the civilian aircraft world, it'll be interesting to see what happens now with the A220 manufacturer between Quebec and Mobile, Alabama. Yeah, that's right. My buddy's a test pilot over there. We'll see. We shall see. Thank you.
Only the ones in Quebec will have tariffs, right? Isn't
I don't
that
know.
the advantage? I mean,
Well,
that's what
final
car
assembly-
manufacturers.
Final assembly's
doing.
here, though, isn't it?
Hey,
Pretty sure.
Corvettes are made in Kentucky.
And
Yeah.
you can't sell yours.
Renee says, "Can we watch your race on Saturday Live?"
You don't want to.
I think we should stream it.
Oh, dude, there's an idea, dude.
Facebook Live.
We'll both be mic'd up. Did that be freaking? Oh, Mover, can we get you mic'd up like a three-way conversation?
I have two of them. I have two mics.
Dude. One that I will just pass.
Doug is the cameraman,
Doug's
and
the
you guys are the
right.
color commentary.
Yeah, I say we film it with my iPhone 4. That'd be perfect. 240p for the fans.
Is it that high?
It'll look like you're going fast because it'll be blurry.
Yeah, dude. So fast you can't see it. Thanks, Renee. What do we got next? Holly Movie Star. Do y'all remember the show Dogfights episode? Dogfights in the Future? Yes.
Yeah, the
From
boner.
season 2 that aired on May 10th, 08.
I was so excited about that idea.
Yeah, the F-22 supported by B-1s was cool. Yeah. In fact, I watched that clip there the other day. It's not a bad idea.
Missile truck.
Yeah. We caught up?
We are caught up.
It's time
All
for
right,
the
man.
mental health minute.
Are we all the way
Ready?
there?
Do we have one?
I think this whole show was a mental health disaster.
Do we have one, or do
We're
you want to
gonna
do one
mental
more?
health
What do you
hour.
want, Mover?
We're gonna need. To
It's
fix mental
bedtime, dude.
health
I got
after
stuff to
this.
do tomorrow.
All right. Well, what's the mental health minute there, Mover?
I thought we were going to let our guests choose.
Be nice.
No.
What did
That was
all right.
it. Be nice.
Well, I can talk about something real quick because it's something I'm bad at and I need to be better at. So it's not stuff that I do, but I should. And it's being more positive because one of the things during our academics today, one of the speakers was talking about when you are flying a plane, and I loved his analogy. That's why I'm stealing it. When you're
He's
flying a
probably
plane,
not watching, if that helps. So.
well, that's for sure. But when you're flying and something bad happens, you don't sit there and go, "Oh man, that's unfair." Woe is me. You go, okay, get the checklist, quick reaction checklist, bold face, whatever it is. You handle the problem, you deal with it in the moment, and then you debrief it after the fact. But yet, once we get on the ground, we tend to not apply that to the rest of our lives. Instead, we take bad things and go, "Oh, woe is me. Man, that sucks. It's always bad. It's always going to be bad." And I think part of it's always going to be bad is kind of a pilot thing because we're always expecting the worst and then hoping for the best in some cases because you're always prepared, right? You're always thinking that. But on the same note, when we go fly, we're not like catastrophizing to say, well, this flight's going to suck. I'm going to crash and everything's going to suck. We're like, hey, I am Captain Gonky, and I'm going to get you from point A to point B safely. Like it's a declarative statement. There's no, I hope I get you there or whatever. We're very positive about that. But then in our daily lives, we tend to be very negative, and that takes its toll on your mental health because then your brain, like mine, gets wired to always see the negative, to think that if I say, this is something I struggle with, right? Where it's like, if I say something good's going to happen, I'm afraid I'm going to jinx it. I'm afraid that if I say, hey, this race Saturday, I'm going to go out and it's going to be awesome and have a great time. And, good things are going to happen, that it'll be an outright disaster from like the first moment I sit in the car. And that kind of attitude is unhealthy, but it also keeps you from enjoying the moment. It keeps you from enjoying when the good stuff is happening because you don't enjoy it in the moment. You enjoy it, for me, you enjoy it a year later where you're like, man, that was fun. I wish I could have enjoyed it when it was happening instead of worrying about everything being terrible for the weeks leading up to it. So it's a process, something I am personally working on as I do the racing stuff. Because for me, that is the mental health. That is the closest I can get to being a fighter pilot again, or to flying a fighter. And the demons that I fought off the first time, it's the same thing. And this time, just like last time, I intend to win. And it's just a matter of that mental mindset that I'd figured out 3 years ago and applying it again and having fun and enjoying the time we have, because we never know. We never know what's going to happen. So think positive, move forward. Always talk to a buddy if you can. 988 Military One Source chaplains are always a good resource. Good friends that happen to know a lot about psychology help. But Gonky, what do you got?
Yeah, dude, I positive attitude is important. I mean, I know you joke with me all the time about I'm a golden retriever and I just walk around wagging my tail, bumping into stuff, but it's a conscious effort I make every day. And I think we talked about in the past, a lot of it is perspective. You know, I grew up in Saudi Arabia, and I love my country, America, and my extended family, I only got to see them in America once a year. So I, the little things, I try not to take them for granted, even though I live in the West and I do. Also, a big thing with me is obviously I think God's got a plan, and, I have to trust that a lot. So that helps ground me, because a lot of times, you go through the mental what ifs, like, you go down that rabbit hole, like you talked about, of everything bad that can happen is going to happen. But, I think, at least for me, the more grounded I am in my faith, like the more resistance I have to that, because I think I'm here for a reason, and a good reason. That's just what I believe. I know having kids has changed me in the sense that you're like, Wombat and Doug can speak to this too, but they're like sponges, right? They pick up on everything. They pick up on positive energy, negative energy. They know when mommy and daddy aren't happy with one another, right? So, it's not fake, but I make the conscious effort to be as positive as I can about things around them. And when bad things are happening, I usually try to put them in a positive light, or at least, at least kind of use those moments as a learning tool for them. Because, as a kid, I mean, I just, I was like you're saying, I really had a problem with going down the rabbit hole of everything bad's going to happen is going to happen. And I had many years of, well, that's not actually what happened. It's just all in my mind. Right. So like you said, it's important to have good friends, that you can talk to. And yeah, man, for me, it's just the positive, the deliberate act of looking for the good outcome, and strong in my faith, and then my family as well. Wombat, what do you got?
I agree with both of you on what you're saying. I think one of the things that's a detriment when it comes to things like this is the exact platform that we use in social media. Because when you're down, when you're second guessing yourself, naturally, let me just pick up the phone. I need instant gratification. I need to get my mind off of whatever it is. And you see these people on social media, and nobody on social media, even the ones that do it ironically, which I love, the housewives that are like ironically showing you how chaotic their lives are, but it's all put together to look ironically chaotic when it's not. Like, it's all fake. You're looking at somebody's highlight reel from essentially their marketing in a lot of senses, and to find somebody genuine and unique on social media is extremely rare. So you're now comparing your perceived inadequacies and hesitation against this world that's perfect, and you're never going to win, right? And I've had people point out to me, they're like, oh man, you handle things well, the mental health minute, like you say these things or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you realize I'm on there with two people, one who saw it firsthand and one who knows it very closely, of everything I went through in my life, not even career, but life, to where I did not do any of the things I'm saying you should do. The whole idea of never down, never out and all this came from 20 plus years longer, 30 plus years, really, of people telling me no, of people trying to take things away from me, of me losing my relationships and me losing my health and just everything unraveling. And it's like, the only thing that works is you've got to believe there's a reason. And I agree with Gonky, like we're all here for a reason. And you can, I'm not telling people what to believe. I just know that I believe in God, and I believe that, I can look back at very specific instances in my life that in the moment, I'm like, why is this happening? Like, there's no positive outlook that can come out of this. It's impossible. But here I am on the other side. And it's hard to get through that. I was speaking with a friend the other day about divorce, and he had gone through a really difficult divorce, and he said it was a rough 2 years. And I was like, yeah, man, I can imagine, it's tough. He had kids and all this stuff, and he thought he had the perfect life and everything was perfect. And then it just got ripped away from him. But at the end he goes, but you know what? Like, my kids are great. I have a new girlfriend now. And it's pretty darn good. I go, it is, but mentally you couldn't see that when you were in the moment. And he's like, you're right. I couldn't. And that's the problem. It shows me how strong our influences are, how strong our brains are. And in order to be successful, you have to convince yourself that you are going to be successful, right? I could sit here and I believe in Mover. I know he's going to have a blast. So I'm going to tell you you're going to have a blast, right? But the only way you're going to have a blast is if you have a blast, period. If you get it in your head, and I can use the analogy of this. My wife, a little over a week ago, studying for this test, right? She studied harder than any time I've ever studied in my life. She was prepared. It was 24 hours out from the test. And I walked in from working out and I go, okay, I need you to shift gears now. And she's like, what do you mean? I go, we're past the point of studying. We're past the point of prep. Now you have to mentally prepare yourself that you will be successful in this. You can't walk into that testing center and take a test that has a 50% fail rate on the first try, true statistic, and question whether you're prepared or not. You now have to affirm that you are. You have to walk in there and go, you know what? I'm going to kick this test ass. I got this. I'm prepared. It doesn't matter if you are or not at this point. Time's up. But now you got to get your mind on your side, because if you don't, your mind will go against you in a snap. And it's no different in aviation, right? People are like, oh, well, you study and you prepare for all these things that can happen. You're right. We do in training. But I don't know everything that can happen every time I step in a plane, right? But I believe that I am going to get my crew and my passengers from point A to point B safely. I believe that every time they shut the door. I have to. The day I stop believing that is the day I retire, because I'm no good at my job at that point. And it is just as imperative on test taking day that my wife believed she could pass that test. Because frankly, if you have that on your side, there's a fair chance, even if you don't know all the stuff, you could have a good test day. Mover, and I hate to call you out in a mental health minute, but you now, as we transition, what is it, almost Wednesday, Tuesday, going into this race, right?
We do the show on Monday.
Is it Monday?
Yeah.
Please tell me
Yeah.
it's Monday.
Okay. As we transition to Tuesday and your qualifying is on Saturday, it's you've done what you can do. There's
Yeah,
nothing
we got one more practice session on Friday with Doug.
But if you don't walk into that practice session with the right positive mental energy, it's a wasted practice session. So you have now reached the point where you're in go mode, and you've done this a million times in the military. You've done it on a million sorties. You've done it at the airlines. This is what you do. And it's the hardest thing. I promise you, you'll be successful. I know it in my heart if you go in with that mentality. As much as I know that if you go in and you second guess yourself and you go, oh, but what if, I don't know. I mean, what if this bothers me? Or what if this, you will not be successful. It is that simple at this point because you've done the work and you're prepared. And that's all you can do. We can't control everything. We want to. We have this need to want to be able to reach out and go, I know the outcome. You don't, dude. For all you know, it's just as likely that you hit the wall in a fiery blaze of inferno as it is that you win. And you don't have a say in it. All you can go out there is have the right mental attitude and do the absolute best you can, just like you do when you fly an airplane, period. That's it. So stop worrying about what you can control in life. This is for everybody. You can't control it. So you might as well enjoy the ride. Keep things into perspective. And this is where my faith comes in, my love of my family. Every night before I go to bed, I pray that my wife and my son and daughter and dog and myself, in that order, stay healthy, happy, and safe. And every morning when I wake up, I thank God that they are. Those are I appreciate that. And then the rest of it is just going into the day knowing that no matter what hits you, you're going to bounce off it. You're going to keep moving forward because you don't know the outcome. So there's no reason to worry about the individual little things along the path. You just have to know that I'm supposed to be going in this path. And you know what? There is enough control in this universe that if I'm on the wrong path, trust me, they will change your path. I promise you. Because when I was in the Navy, I was on the wrong path multiple times. I was not where I was supposed to be. And the universe and God fixed that for me, no matter what I did to try to go against it. So you've got to believe it in your heart. You have to just go into it and just enjoy it, man, because you have an opportunity that I'm telling you, like, is extremely rare. We all do. And you got to just keep that in perspective and keep moving forward. You just have to, because there's no other option. I mean, a life of happiness is not wallowing in your own self-pity about the things that could have, should have, maybe could have. I don't know if I'm ready. Who cares, man? I certainly wasn't ready for anything in my career, and I'm still here. And it's not because I'm good. I promise. I got the grade sheets to prove it. So you just got to go into it and believe it.
I could move where I can see it. This one's for you, Wombat. Da-da-da.
No, actually, I was thinking we found Wombat is actually Nicole Kidman. Because control is an illusion, you infantile egomaniac.
Oh,
yeah,
valid,
that's the thing. So
that's what you got out of that whole speech.
Listen,
huh?
Wombat,
that's what you got out of
we
that.
need a couple sugar packets, and I'm going to explain drafting to you.
My son will teach me in a couple weeks. I don't need you to teach it to me.
Hopefully not with sugar packets.
Well,
no, that Wombat, that was good, dude. That was good.
Man.
Hey, Doug, what clean it up for us?
Wombat was good. There's a bunch of stuff to take away from this, and Wombat, you kind of nailed this one. This is something that's really easy to say, and looking back, you always know, you can say it, well, I should have been thinking positive, or I'm going to think positive. The trick is to make it happen when you need it. And like with so many other things, the way to get there is to practice it when you don't need it. Just like you told your wife, go in there already thinking you got it made. And something that I've seen a couple places recently, and it's applied to racing a lot specifically, is to practice a programmed reset where you have some little thing that you do, and it can be, just a simple motion of your body. For me, it was always coming out of turn 16 at NOLA. I'd put my foot on the dead pedal, push my butt in the seat, check the gauges, and I'm ready for the next lap. And if anything happened, because that's a 16-turn racetrack, if anything happened in that last 16 turns, it's out of my mind now. I'm going for the next lap. And having that little reset, like this is the ritual that I go through. It's like a checklist, except faster. You just go through the ritual and it sets your brain and you're ready to go. And practice that when you don't need it, right? I'd practice it on practice laps. I'd practice it while other people were driving. And then it just starts to come naturally. That doesn't mean it always works, but it's better.
I think we all do that. I think that's really wise, Doug. I mean, I do it I mean, I'll tell you right now, every time before 1,000 feet or 500 feet in the plane, I'm always like, everything's hanging, everything's lit, runway's clear. I'm always doing that, and it resets. It doesn't matter how the flight went. It doesn't matter how my landings have been. Not that I necessarily care, but it sets me into that moment there. Just like the same when I'm pulling into the gate, I'm like, everything's cleaned up, everything's off. This is where we're parking. And so far, knock on wood, I haven't landed horribly or parked at the wrong gate. So,
And the trick is
think
to
that
translate
reset's huge.
translate that discipline and translate that way of thinking to other parts of your life. A lot of folks have trouble. It's like one thing for something I'm trained for. It's another thing for my emotional relationship with my kids or whatever. But it works the same way.
Sure. That's huge. And
Awesome.
We
Well,
got
cool.
like
We
12 things from the
yeah,
audience.
What do we got from the audience, man?
nothing. Oh, okay.
No, sorry, I muted my mic and then said some stuff. There you go.
Zippers forever. Mental health minute. Roll with it. Yes. Mover, you're good at shooting from the hip. Thanks, Zipper. 93 Nav man. EA 6Bs or growlers and seed, possibly cap, would have made Top Gun 2 more believable to us. U.S. aviation folk also ejecting at any Mach, much less than 10. Still, if you put your mind fiction, great story. Yeah. It's a movie.
Willing suspension of disbelief.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Hollywood, man. BC10 says, okay, boys, love the fees. Are any word about how far the Europeans are on their 5th gen fighter? I have no idea, man.
People
It's
start
Canadian.
to.
He's
people start to show at
shopping for
different times.
Canada.
He is
He's asking for a friend.
yeah. Thanks, VC10. Colin says, I can relate to you, mover, overthinking nearly everything. It's a contributor to my bad anxiety and panic attacks, trying to work on it, but it's hard to get out of depending on your supports, of
It
course.
sucks. It's
Yeah.
horrible. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a spiral that,
Yeah. Keep working it, Colin.
yeah, it sucks.
We're all working our issues every day. Aaron says, mental health minute, advantages to marrying that strip right. Your first duty station, BAS, BAQ, hazardous, pay duty, etc. Advice for the young kids marrying bubbles. Yeah.
FO wife and your FO house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Ron. Lisa, exactly. Ichi authentic. Great role models. Thank you. Well, thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it. We can't edit. Zipper says 13 surgeries so far. 3rd procedure on deck. Enjoy today. Good coffee, great dog. Bake bread, show people you love them. File your taxes. That's funny, Zipper. Yeah, true though. A lot of truth to that.
Mm-hmm.
Irene says, or last night I read we have to have the to have good without the bad. We wouldn't recognize or appreciate the good, so embrace the bad. Yeah, I mean, there's seasons in life, right? There's winter, summer, a little bit in between. So thank you, Irene. 93 Nav man, this retired senior chief would have been proud to serve with 83 role models and great positive attitudes make a huge difference. Bravo Zulu. Thanks, Nav man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Not sure every senior that I worked with would agree with you, but no.
Positive attitude.
Positive
Yeah,
attitude, bro.
That's true. I am sure that not every senior I worked with would agree with you, but I appreciate that.
John says, no quote from me today, but good luck on Saturday. Can't wait to hear Gonky's commentary. Yeah. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. 93 Nav man, Wombat, VA needs you fact. There you go, Wombat.
Virginia.
Yeah, I don't know about Virginia.
Oh, I think it's
for
VA.
lovers.
Like, no, I think like VA.
Oh,
like
VA.
Veterans. Veterans.
Veterans.
Yes.
I don't see
Maybe-
how that
maybe I'll
wasn't the
get
first
that.
thing that popped into your head.
Doug and I are in the same
You guys, you're too busy looking at maps.
Virginia. I'm like, well, like, okay. Yeah.
I've been governor. He
Hey,
could be
this
the
is how
governor.
accidents happen, right? I mean, so Brian says, tangentially, when I crashed my first race car spinning after the first car hit me, I remember the distinct thought, this is the most comfortable seat I've ever sat in ever. Yeah, it's funny when you're in in moments of almost death.
The world is spinning, the Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
I'm upside down. This is not good.
This is not good.
Yeah, it's true. Thanks,
It's
Brian.
time compression. It's crazy what it does to you. I mean,
100%.
I've talked about that before. It's
I've
insane.
experienced it. It is insane.
Yeah. It's
I'm alive, and this is the most comfortable seat I've ever sat in. Right then it is.
Yep.
Perfect.
We're
Thanks,
caught
man.
up, I
We
believe.
caught up. All right. Well, hey, that's the show, Mover. Thanks for letting me drive today, man. Hopefully, I didn't butcher it too much. I know we kind of went off the
I'm
rails.
surprised we didn't get pulled over for suspicion of drunk driving.
There's,
I think it's
yeah,
fantastic, and I'm
we
not
were
just
hitting
saying
the
that because I
fog
was
lights.
here.
it was always after the fact. So
But if you weren't here, you wouldn't have known that it was fantastic.
That's true because I don't watch this show. I can't believe people waste their time. I'm just kidding. It's great. But seriously, go give to Wake for Warriors, and everybody say a prayer that Mover does great on Saturday, which he will.
we're proud of him. Of course, he's gonna do good.
Or sponsor.
It's
gonna
going
do
to be
great.
so
There's
much
the-
fun.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna do great.
Sponsor.
Yeah,
You
Well,
just
thank
gotta
you.
believe it. Just fake it till you make it, man. Tell yourself you're gonna do great.
I believe
Exactly.
Wombat will adopt me and sponsor my race car.
You have a far better chance of doing great on your own. I'll tell you that right now. Far better.
That's
So
funny.
you will do great. Just go crush it, man. And what do you have to lose?
It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be fun. Just keep it. Excuse me. Just keep it fun, Mover.
Yeah.
That's why you're there,
mean-
Gonky.
I know.
I
Don't
mean,
worry.
you're literally going to go do something that your buddies that come to watch you will be jealous of. Like, that's the ultimate flex in aviation, and you're doing it.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool, dude.
So just do it, dude.
Yeah, one and done, man. Leave it all in the
Why
race.
are you bullying me? Jesus, we're trying to end the show.
I'm not bullying you. I'm telling you to
Can
sack
we
up
just
and do
end the
it.
show so I
The
can go to
last
bed?
thing you want to turn into is have a situation where some doctor tells you need to freaking Nancy it up a little bit because your
Hey.
knee's a little sore. Is that how you
looks
want to
like-
live your life?
If she looks like Nicole Kidman, I think Mover would gladly go straight to the dock.
Go wreck
just
the other
saying.
knee.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You'll do great. It's gonna be awesome.
All right,
Pennies from
everybody.
Heavens. It's gonna be awesome.
Thank you so
having
much
me.
thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll see you guys next Monday after Mover's big race.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
Right.
Who's in
Yeah.
charge of